It is 6:01. Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. 4 Major League Baseball playoff games yesterday. The Atlanta Braves trailed 7-1 after the top of the 5th inning and rallied all the way back to 7-6 with 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth, courtesy of a 3-run homer from Matt Olson. But the rally fell short. The Phils lead the best-of-5 divisional round series 1-0 with Game 2 today at 3:35 in Atlanta. Yordan Alvarez smashed a walk-off 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th inning, vaulting the Houston Astros to an 8-7 win over the Seattle Mariners. Sorry, Kayla. Yankees 4, Guardians 1, Dodgers 5, Padres 3 in the other games. The Minnesota Vikings have signed Theo Jackson from the Titans practice squad. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
The show goes on. Everybody ever went.
The show does go on a Wednesday. Good morning to you. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling, who said, everything's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not.
You're homesick, Will. Hopefully you'll start feeling better and can be back in the saddle at some point this week. 11-year NFL veteran involved for life. He is Ramon Foster.
That is I.
What is this?
That is I.
What is this?
I don't know. I always throw my hands up. Just enjoy.
What are you acting like you're pointing to the big crowd that's here? The big live audience?
Hey, we already got people watching in the chat, okay? I don't know who watched me coming in this morning, okay? So I just got to point and let them know I see them too, Kayla.
Okay.
Okay, and you didn't even make your video this morning either.
What video?
Yeah, you usually do
I'll do it in the break.
Let me introduce her.
Yeah.
Very upset, disgruntled, saddened, angered, and offended Seattle Mariners fan, Kayla Anderson.
Thank you. And I came in this morning, and this is why I didn't make the video. Because Ramon, as I walked in, was playing the final situation with the Mariners last night. I'm not even going to go over it.
He's playing the final call.
I'm not going to go over it. I don't want to think about it. Today's a new day, Moan.
And
I'm wearing my Griffey Jr. shirt.
Kid.
I'm wearing the kid today. I'm channeling my inner kid.
That's a childhood hero right there. Yeah, you ain't wrong. I just got to say this real quick about that walk-off, too. I found out this morning that is only the second time in baseball history in the playoffs where a walk-off has happened with 2 outs. So it's rare, okay? So it's not like it's just like y'all got drugged.
Why did you do that to her first thing this morning? Explain yourself. You just gave me the Ryan Reynolds meme on the camera. You had that stupid smirk on your face.
Freeze it.
Why are you choosing violence so early this morning?
I'm petty, and Kayla's got to go through this. She's got to go trial by fire.
He just doesn't know how much more petty I am. So just wait, bruh.
I know.
Wait.
I know. I got to strike first, Kayla. And that's what I know, and I'm here for that, okay? Just so you know.
Yeah, so in case anybody missed that call.
Try to close it on a Tuesday. Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone! And the Astros walk them off in Game 1! Yordan Alvarez! Are you kidding me? What an incredible finish to Game 1 of this American League Division Series. Yordan Alvarez, a 3-run walk-off home run and a no-doubter.
We know.
So how's your PTSD doing after that?
Well, whatever face I made in the chat hopefully did not freeze, because that would be a bad look.
I was close to going.
That would be a bad.
Do you want the camera to? Do you want the camera to freeze this morning?
It'll be mine that freezes because I got the crappy camera.
One thing you'll find out about me is I make the most ugly faces sometimes. So if you ever get it on freeze frame, it'll way outweigh
Oh my God.
Ramon's freeze faces.
Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. All guests courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jayson Swain, Brad Crawford, Rhett Bryan will all join us today. Of course, you can join us live on Zone TV. We are on the Facebooks, the YouTube, the Twitches, and the Twitters. And, of course, follow us on Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will is where you can check us out there. So, Mariners, unfortunately, with the loss yesterday, the Atlanta Braves trailed 7-1, came all the way back. Matt Olson hit a 3-run home run to get that game to 7-6. And let's hear that now.
And the 2-2. Swung on a fly ball to center. Brandon Marsh back, still back. Back to the warning track. Back to the wall. It's out of here. It's gone. Straight away center field. And it's a one-run game.
But unfortunately for them, they weren't the Astros. They couldn't come all the way back and get the win. So that series, Phil's lead it 1-0, best of 5 in the NLDS. 3:35 will be first pitch this afternoon. Every time I hear the Braves play-by-play guy, hey, I'm Jim Brockmeyer. That ball can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery because it's been tattooed.
That's
I
so
can't
funny.
handle it.
I actually watched Brockmeyer when that was a
Funny
series.
show.
It is a funny show, but you're right.
By the way, not for children.
Not at all.
So
for
you kids
children.
home for fall break, do not
Do
go
not watch
on to the
that.
YouTubes and the Netflixes
Yeah.
and go watch Brockmeyer.
That's for adults.
Not a good idea.
By the way, I have a stat that Brave fans are not going to like, including my husband.
See, this is what happens.
Straight up.
Hurt people hurt
Yeah,
people. You're
I
hurt
like to
now.
hurt people when, when people hurt me. So the Braves are actually 4-17 in the postseason series play when they lose game 1.
Really? So this is why Will is home like sick right now too, right? Like that's what we're really saying.
Because he's crying. He's got like red eye, like, it's when the tears leave like the little bit of, what is it? Dribble down
the
your
dribble
face.
down your face.
Yeah.
That's him right now?
I mean, they didn't win, did they?
No, they didn't.
Oh, the worst is when you wake up and you have the little eye crusties.
Those hurt.
Where your eyes were watery, and
Yeah.
especially this time of the year because of allergies. That's Will this morning.
Let me make this clear too. I actually like the Braves, so I want the Braves to win, just not off to the great start.
Yeah.
So are they your second team?
Yeah, and I also like the Guardians because I covered Cleveland for several years.
Yeah.
When they were not the Guardians, but Tito was the manager still. Love Tito. He's a great manager. The stories that he told when we were covering that team was awesome. It made for great content. I mean, one time he was talking to us about how he couldn't go to sleep that night.
Really?
So he stayed up all night trying different types of ice creams.
Stop.
Tito, yeah, this is a story he told us. And then, then you go and use it for your broadcast and it's money. It's gold.
Yeah.
People love that stuff.
I can relate to Tito. I've
That's what
stayed
I'm
up at
saying.
night
He's
eating
relatable.
ice cream.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's not
Oh.
even you playing the Cubs and trying to win a World Series.
Yeah. You
No,
go to
that's just
ice
me
cream?
Netflixing and chilling. That's all I'm doing.
Yes.
But you go to ice cream though? That's tough.
Why would you not
Yeah,
go to
what do you
ice
go
cream,
to?
Ramon?
He's like,
Yeah,
I go to
guess
banana
so.
pudding.
I mean, that does sound pretty good.
Yeah,
I will
Ramon
get
says,
that one.
"No, forget the ice cream. I'm going straight to the Johnny Walker Blue. That's
Yes,
what we're going to do with
100%.
this."
That's what we're
yeah,
talking
I
about.
would go there more than anything.
No need for
Absolutely.
food.
But can I say this too about Will being out?
Yeah.
Is this like his first dose of like reality of being like an adult? Because like this is like I feel like this is adult sickness for Will at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been so high strong doing football on Fridays. He's here. He's been traveling.
He
He's
went to
just
LSU.
been LSU. He's just been going. The week before it goes to UT. Like he's been going. Like this is like his first adult body shutdown. Everybody has this moment.
And you only get older, and it only gets worse when it happens.
Yeah, trying to stay up late. Early.
What's been funny about that is that over the course of the past couple of weeks, Ramon's been saying it.
Yep.
I've been saying it
You
because
guys
we've
have.
been watching him just run so hard
Sure.
for about the past 6 weeks. Everything's just flying in his life.
Yeah.
Everything for him is just mint chocolate chip ice cream.
I
Everything's
love mint
great.
I do too.
Cookie dough ice cream's great
That's
too.
good too.
But with Will, everything's just been awesome and perfect, and he's the danger, and he's the phenom, and everything's fantastic in his life. Yeah, and you know what happens?
Yep.
Just hits you.
Life hits you.
If you want to
Smack in
know
the face.
what adulthood sounds like, it's just reality.
That's
Well,
good.
that was part of my dream too last night. I got so mad at my friend that I slapped her.
Did you?
Whoa. Okay,
So
let's set this up.
I don't know what was going on.
This was a dream you were having.
Yeah,
last
I had
night.
a dream last night that my high school friends, and I had a really good group of friends.
Yeah.
I'm a super loyal person, too. I was telling Mo when it comes to my friends, I still keep in contact with a lot of those gals back in Spokane. But I don't know what it was. We had a big fight, and they pretty much told me that I just wanted things my way, and that wasn't cutting it. And then I got when I get mad, I get mad. But I guess I slapped her.
We noticed.
Yeah, you slapped her.
I remember that part of the dream, too.
Damn, Kayla.
I know.
And you woke up this morning distraught, too.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, so the
I
violence last night carried into the dream.
I think it's because the Mariners lost.
it's fair.
I get it. Been there, too. I've been there, too, okay?
Cousin Hightower on YouTube. Mint chocolate chip is the nastiest ice cream. Go. Get out.
Please.
See, I don't
Go to your room.
No longer want it.
Because I don't really love mint, but I like mint in certain situations.
Yeah.
It might not be your favorite ice cream. It's not the nastiest.
No.
No.
Mint chocolate chip is legit.
Yeah.
There's this one place in
Ooh, I love
Pittsburgh,
Baskin
this
Robbins.
little corner ice cream shop that puts the Girl Scout cookie mint chocolate chip on,
Well.
the thin mint.
The joke I was going to make is if it's an ice cream shop in Pittsburgh, obviously they put fries and coleslaw on it, so there's no doubt about
Probably
that.
that.
do, yeah.
Oh my God, Goody, you did not, Goody.
What a goodie.
What
do.
he
He
do?
froze the frame.
Of,
Who
you,
did?
of
He
your
froze the frame.
I got one even
Why
better.
did I even? I don't want to see. Ramon, cut it. Goody.
Adam on the YouTube.
Um,
Will still goes to high school homecoming. See, that's just
Whoa. Whoa. No, hey, nobody takes shots at Will but us, okay? Not high school homecoming.
Lewis says, "Come on, talk football." We're kidding.
Hey, go
started,
talk to
man.
your mom, okay?
Lewis.
Go talk to your buddy
Come
Charles.
on,
We'll be
we're
back on
warming
there in a
up.
second.
We had a bad night. A lot of us did.
Speaking of football, we'll talk more about this coming back from the break. And, of course, you can chime in, as always, at 615-737-1045. The Minnesota Vikings have signed Titans 2022 sixth-rounder Theo Jackson from the practice squad. And Ramon wasn't very happy about it. Yeah. We'll discuss when we come back. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. This is Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
Change is coming and you need to be prepared. Hey, this is Ramon Foster. Did you know that new regulations are coming that could increase the price of replacing your older HVAC system by over 20%? That's why you need to act now and get that older system replaced by my friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They offer 18 months with no payments. You can lock in today's price and not have to pay until spring of 2024. Or you can get up to $1,500 off your new HVAC. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is always backed by a 10-year parts and labor warranty on York products. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is also a York certified comfort expert company. And if you need repair work also, they offer free service calls with their repairs, plus low monthly payments on those repairs. They are the heating and cooling company that can take care of all your HVAC needs. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Available anytime at springhillac.com.
I needed to calm myself down.
Nice job on the tunes from our guy Bert. Back in the control room. 6:21 on your Wednesday morning. Thanks for making us a part of it. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling, who is loafing/sick. Ramon Foster in studio. Kayla Anderson as well, who is still a little shaken, not stirred from both what happened to the Mariners last night and her dream from overnight. You slapped somebody up.
I know. I hope my friend's okay. I might call her today.
No, for real. Straight up.
Did you feel that?
Nah, that's the way I am.
Man.
Those are the moments when your significant other is mad at you that morning because of something you did in the dream.
Yep.
Oh.
And then they're all just giving you the mean mug face
Yeah.
and the RBF, whether it's the dude or the chick.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah, I didn't control myself last night.
Yeah, this was the stuffed pepper you ate last night. It has nothing to do with me. What are we doing?
I was like,
here?
what did I eat?
Have y'all ever been in a situation where, like, you try to find meanings of dreams, though? Like,
Oh,
for
yeah,
real?
for sure.
Like, I've been in a situation where I've seen somebody, like, I've had a dream, like, about something happening, and it happens to, like, a person, like, 2 people removed from it.
Oof.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that unless it's positive.
Like somebody being pregnant, and you be like,
Ooh.
man, ooh.
You're like predicting the future for people you don't even know.
Shafe, are you pregnant?
Not since last Thursday.
How about a dream of you dreaming of me winning the lottery?
You know what? That will, like, push back to me because it's not about me, it's about you. So it doesn't go to you, it goes to me.
But you don't need anything. So.
We've got Scout Meeting Wednesday coming up later in the show, which Ramon Foster was adamantly against because it was researching the Alabama Crimson Tide since we don't have a Titans game this week. And in the group chat last night, as he's doing the research, man, I hate Bama. This sucks. I don't want to do this.
Hey, listen to me.
Toughen up, Buttercup. Just because it's Alabama, you got a job to do. Let's go.
Hey, listen to me. I won't lie. Like, I wasn't even playing this up to y'all yesterday. I know y'all saw my text coming through like, Moan,
Lots
stop,
of 'em.
grow up. It's okay, Moan. Do the job, right? It wasn't even any of that. I legitimately was like sick that I had to go to, like,
He can't
Yeah.
even say it.
All right.
He can't.
I had to search
he
their
can't
football
even
team.
Say it.
I had to search I went to rolltide.com.
Roll Tide.
Now, my suggestion after he did that was, hey, you might want to clean your browser history so the wife doesn't see that and start
Yeah.
thinking negatively about
Exactly.
I didn't realize how much I hated Alabama. Like, for
you.
real.
Hey, it's safe to say it's irrational.
No, like, I didn't like. I'm looking up their stats. I'm like, I hate this guy. God, I don't even know him. You suck too. Like, I was.
He's like yelling at his computer. His
I
wife's like, "What is
was.
going on?"
It's like that one movie, screw you,
Exactly.
screw you, you're okay, screw you.
You saw my notes, like what I even wrote about Harry Told. I was like, what a freaking
Traitor.
traitor.
Well,
Yeah.
So
I was like, I was hurt
Yeah.
by being on there. I hate that you did that to me, Shay.
you'll be all right. Yeah, tell your therapist later on. So we'll talk about that. Also, we'll talk about Theo Jackson in a moment, but we want to get to Eric out on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Eric in Nashville, good morning. Welcome to Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
Hey, guys. First of all, Will, if you're out there listening, I hope you get better soon. We miss you, bud, and I hope you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah, I'm tired of doing your job, Will. Get back to work.
So, guys, unfortunately, I got a little bit of a bone to pick with you on your NFL top 7 teams that you listed yesterday. Because you had one team I felt like didn't deserve to be in there, and you left one team out that I think deserved more. And here's my top 7. So, at number 7, I had the New York Giants. At number 6, I got the Minnesota Vikings. And at number 5, I've got the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. Yeah.
At number 4, I've got the Dallas Cowboys. At number 3, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 2, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles, and I got Buffalo number 1. And you know the team I left out was the Baltimore Ravens. And I'll tell you why I left the Baltimore out and put San Francisco in. Now, Baltimore did win Sunday night, but did you know they blew 2 huge leads in games against Miami and against Buffalo? They're also their defense, which is the pride and joy of that team. They're ranked near the bottom in a lot of statistical categories. And not only that, they had lost overall 5 in a row at home, which Baltimore's not known for doing. And the three things they're known for now, of course, is John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson, their kicker, Justin Tucker. That's what they're known primarily for. I mean, I just had a hard time putting them in the top five. And also, if you remember, they fired Wink Martindale, who's now with the New York Giants, who the Baltimore Ravens have to go play this Sunday. So that could be, Ramon, one of your 5 games you're looking at this weekend. That game, that's going to be an interesting game, along with Dallas and Philadelphia and Buffalo and Kansas City. But here's why I got the 49ers in there. They dominated the Rams. They dominated the Carolina Panthers, both games. They had 2 back-to-back pick sixes for touchdowns. They're near the top in the NFL defense in sacks.
Yeah.
They're up there right physically with Buffalo and Dallas. Plus the fact they're dealing with hordes of injuries. They got Trent Williams out. I think they got another offensive lineman that's hurt. I think Nick Bosa's hurt, and one of their defensive back, I think it's the defensive back that ran the interception back for a touchdown. I think he's out with a torn ACL. It's just, and I can't stand the 49ers, so because I grew up a Cowboys fan, but I think they deserve to be in your top 7 more than the Baltimore Ravens did. Just throwing that out there, guys. Y'all take care and have a great day.
All right, appreciate it, Eric. I've got no problem with the 49ers because I remember when we did our fraud or for real that we did when Will decided not to be sick and he was hosting the show. I had the 49ers right there.
Yeah.
You did bring that
and
up.
I looked at them too.
Yeah.
The quarterback issues are still the same.
Yeah.
They are what they are. And they lucked out by not trading Jimmy G away. So Jimmy G's going to be there. But with that defense, there's no reason the 49ers can't go back to an NFC championship game.
Exactly. Well, especially in that division.
Exactly.
Right now, that division is all sorts of whack.
Yeah. And Eric had the Minnesota Vikings in there.
Yep.
Had a few others. And the thing is that, again, once you get past top 3 or top 4 teams, just throw the rest of them into a bag.
It's a wash. Except for like the bottom 3 teams. Like other than
Yeah,
those,
that's
then
kinda
we're
solid.
good. But everybody else, like if you're from where 5 to about 16, 17, you're competing this year.
Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. I have no idea how good they are.
You're exactly right.
What I do know is I want a loan from Kirk Cousins because he's
Me
got
too,
the money.
Bro.
And you want a loan from
I want a loan from him too.
straight up.
He's
I just
made a lot of
realized
cash.
He has. But this is the year where you kind of say, okay, finally it's justified. Well, is it? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it really justifiable, like, with what he's doing right now? I don't know how good Minnesota is. I'm with Dallas, but I don't know how good Dallas is.
I know how good their defense is.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know how
that's
good
true.
Micah Parsons is.
Yes.
That kid is on to something, man. And even still to that point, even though I had Philly number 1, I don't know how good Philly is.
Well, we're going to find out a lot this weekend
We
with
are.
those 2 teams battling each other.
That's the matchup, right?
Yeah.
The Cowboys and Eagles game. Yeah, 100%, man. And to the same end. How good is Cincy still? How good is Baltimore still? Okay, Kansas City still went toe-to-toe with, who was it on Monday night? Raiders. You know what I'm saying? Like how – and then the Raiders.
To me, Baltimore's like last year. You could tell me there is a universe where Baltimore is in the Super Bowl, and I can buy that.
Yeah.
You can also tell me there's a universe, there's a multiverse, there's a timeline, and we're in Marvel Cinematic Universe here, that the Ravens – miss the playoffs, and I can buy that.
Because here's the thing. As much as you want to talk about Lamar Jackson, I think he's just a great athlete. He's done some really good things with the Baltimore Ravens. But what people will look at, just like they look at the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill, is you are not taking them to where ultimately they want to be.
Right.
And that's Super Bowl. That's winning the games you need to win in the postseason, not just the regular season. And I think that that's the criticism that comes with Lamar still, is not getting them to that point. So to your point, Shafe, I agree. You just never know. They have all the talent to get there usually. But are you that surprised when they don't?
I think that's it, because I think most people view, and we got a resident Ravens fan behind the glass this morning, so that's what I was laughing at.
Don't bring me into this.
I know,
Don't
right?
bring me into this.
But what I was saying, what I think with Lamar is the same thing you're saying. Like, you look at Lamar and you say, we got this ball of talent, but can he actually get us there with the way this team is built?
Yeah.
Young receivers, tight end heavy, run heavy. How sustainable is that with Lamar, who's probably going to be the numero uno paid quarterback until Joe Burrow goes up, right?
Sure.
It's justifiable that he could be the number 1 highest paid quarterback ever in history for a while. And then you say to yourself, but can you really win us a Super Bowl with what we got in front of us?
Let me pose this question to you too, because Eric forgot to mention Mark Andrews too, who is an incredible tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. I would consider that a weapon. What if you were able to get Lamar Jackson, a wide receiver like an A.J. Brown, and add that to the roster? Because look at what he's kind of helped Jalen Hurts in terms of what he's been able to do there. In Philadelphia, Jalen is a similar type of quarterback. I mean, he's an athletic dual threat type of quarterback. I mean, what would that do for a Baltimore offense, just even adding a weapon like that type of receiver?
Can you have a top flight wide receiver play with Lamar Jackson with the type of game Lamar Jackson plays?
To you, because your point is this: towards the end of the game, when they had to go win it, it was Lamar.
Right.
You know, it was him and his athletic ability. Yeah. It was him being a playmaker.
I'm using this person as an example. If A.J. Brown is in Baltimore, not Philadelphia, is A.J. Brown getting enough targets to keep A.J. Brown happy? And I'm going to say the answer to that is no.
Right.
Well, because it's all built around Lamar. Not Lamar's fault. He has one of the most unique skill sets we have ever seen.
Right.
I mean, let's go back to Michael Vick. The closest one we can ever compare to Vick. Although now Michael himself, Vick said on our show that Kyler Murray was the closest to him. I'm going to go with Lamar just in terms of the sheer athleticism. But it's Lamar Jackson's offense. They don't have any premier receivers there. So my question with Baltimore is the same question I have with the Titans and I have with other organizations. Are you playing a style of ball that once you get into the playoffs is sustainable? And the answer to that is we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We do not know.
Speaking of the Titans, we have news coming out of St. Thomas Sports Park from yesterday. The Minnesota Vikings have signed Titans 2022 sixth-rounder Theo Jackson from the practice squad. The 24-year-old former Overton and Vols star joins a Vikings squad that suffered several injuries in Sunday's win over the Chicago Bears. So Theo Jackson goes from being fringe player on the Titans with the practice squad, now going over to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I thought, first and foremost, I know Moan was upset about this, him being a former, Vol or VFL, I should say, and then an Overton guy right here, as well as Ugo Amadi is an Overton guy. But here's the thing about this that I love. Theo Jackson is going to get an opportunity while it's not right here in his hometown, and that makes a great story. Yeah. He's going to get an opportunity to play in the NFL still and play in a game and still get some more experience. And I know that Ty Chandler was injured. He went to IR, I believe, for the Minnesota Vikings, a guy that was a big contributor on special teams. So I think that will be exactly what Theo will be doing, is contributing on special teams. But that says something about Theo. It also says something about just the amount of film he was able to get on in the preseason here and in the little amount that he was able to play. It's giving a guy an opportunity. You could never get mad about that.
No, you can't. And I was just laughing before you brought up Ty, too, because I was just like, well, look at the irony of that.
I
you
know.
had a former Tennessee guy get cut by another Tennessee guy. He had no deal going to North Carolina, although it paid off well for him, okay? But this is my thing, though, when it comes to Theo Jackson. You guys know I've been saying this for like a few years now when it comes to this Titans team is when are your guys, though? True. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
You drafted Theo to be here. You drafted sixth. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not a, first, second, third, or fourth, but he's your guy. And it's often Tennessee Titans guys are always on other teams.
Sure.
Where's the ability to be able to stack guys to build a culture of dudes that you've drafted? That was my only thing. It's like, well, I know they see value in them, right? As far as Minnesota goes, but I've been saying this. Like, I love to see guys stay in-house because those are guys you draft for your culture, right? Yeah. And I know it's probably not a big role for Theo to play right now with the Titans as far as him being a safety, but if they're getting him for special teams, as you said, that Ty Chandler was being used at in Minnesota, then he could have possibly done the same thing here. Clearly, he was healthy. Yep. Clearly, they knew he had playmaking ability, and he's a fresh body, okay? I get it. I just hate to see guys get poached. Great for Theo. Beautiful for him because he's on active roster.
I get your point too, Ramon, but I'm going to say this. If he was good enough, he'd have been on the active roster playing special teams. He would have been.
Okay.
And I also get your point about having your guys in-house and having them stay in-house, grow the culture. And they've had players that they've done that with the Titans. They have definitely done that. 6th round pick. 6th round pick.
Yeah.
So the Vikings need, quote unquote, a body. And I'm not minimizing him in any way by saying that. They need a body because of their situation. They found his skill set to where they can use it more immediately than the Titans can. Theo Jackson was in a position to where it's actually an area of strength for the Titans. And now I'm very happy for him that he's going to be playing in Minnesota. But, Kayla, I think that's the case. If he was good enough, he'd have been playing on the active roster in that special teams role.
I'm with you.
He wasn't, and he's also a 6th-round pick. Now, if that would have been a 3rd-rounder and that happened, different deal. But it's a 6th-round pick.
Also, I've found this to be interesting in the past several years. There are so many players that find themselves back with the Tennessee Titans. They'll go pop a couple teams, pop around to a couple teams, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, so-and-so's back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Mike Vrabel, and, I don't know if it's John Robinson, but it's just that's kind of what happens. At least it has under Vrabes.
Oh, we've seen that with Corey Levin, Josh Kalu. We've seen that with several players that will come back into the fold. And it also helps if you're an ex-Houston Texan. You seem to come onto this team, too.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's be honest about that. Hey, not hating.
No.
If I knew these guys, I'd bring them on, too. So could you see a scenario to where a Theo Jackson could even be back on this team later on? Absolutely.
Yeah. He's got to serve 3 weeks since they, I say serve 3 weeks. They got to keep him signed for at least 3 weeks since they put him off the practice squad.
Yeah.
And to that point, you're right. If they thought he was good enough here, then they would have signed him. So as far as active roster goes, optics to me always kind of say, well, everybody else loves your guys but you. But I guess there was no strong need for it here in this current moment.
Well, Ramon, how much of it is because he's a VFL? And he's a
not
local
much.
kid?
No, I've said this about other guys.
Yeah.
This is the same argument I've had about other guys. This is not because he's a VFL. It's because you need help in the secondary. Maybe he could been in the slot position some. Maybe he could have spared somebody if you went 3 safeties up top. But we're talking about changing Caleb Farley's position. Then clearly Theo has a knack for playing ball. You know what I'm saying?
Also, no, we're the only ones talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Dyson brought that up, and we brought about it on this show. We don't want anybody tuning in right now saying, hey, Caleb Farley's moving to safety. So we don't want to go too far down that road, to be fair.
You're the truth in the booth right there. You save us from ourselves sometimes.
Best in the world, baby.
Best producer.
World.
But you mentioned that. It's the concern is you look at the current state of the secondary for the Tennessee Titans, and you see what you think is an able body on that roster, and you see the injuries that they've had to deal with, the inconsistency that they've had to deal with. How are we losing another defensive back? When we've had to deal with injuries and inconsistency, why are we losing a guy that we think has the potential? And the reality of the situation is, again, if he was the guy, he'd be playing. And this is just life in the NFL.
It is. What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. 6:39, Ramon, Kayla, and Will continue after this break. We will get into our scout meeting Wednesday. Usually involves the Titans opponent for the next week. We decided to change it up and make Ramon's life a living hell last night as he scouted the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll get into that when we come back. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, Jayson Swain, Brad Crawford at 8:20, Rhett Bryan at 9 o'clock, and then we will redeem all of this mess and get motivated with Inky Johnson at 9:50 today. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, more when we return on 104.5 The Zone. This is the epitome of old school right
Yeah,
here.
it is.
You got it. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson here. Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. As always, live on Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter there. Also follow us on Twitter at Ramon Kayla Will as we go to Chris out on the phone lines, and you can jump in at 615-737-1045. Chris in Nashville, good morning. Welcome into Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
Hey, good morning. I just want to jump on that topic you had with Theo Jackson. Loved him in training camp. Not a UT fan, but I respect his skill set. My point is I would love to see the NFL take continued steps on expanding rosters, whether it be roster as a general, game day roster, and I think that'll help with the developmental of that NFL player, prolong the career, prolong the continuity with that team, the kind of family atmosphere Ramon was talking about. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, y'all.
I appreciate the phone call. And they've done that with the practice squad. That was one of the things that was done during the pandemic.
It was needed, okay? I'm talking about guys like there's no developmental league for the NFL, like at all. Like when you're done, like you're chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go hire a trainer. You can't do anything in-house. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things is that I think was necessary, them expanding the practice squad. And this is the other thing too. Guys who were suspended. I think a lot of times we look at that as punishment, but when you look at the situation that suspended players go into where they're not around anybody, like they have now started to be able to incorporate those guys back into the locker room on a personal basis, not a sports basis. So, and I saw this, and I know a lot of people won't like it, but Deshaun Watson is allowed back into the stadium. I mean, into their facility now.
Yep, I saw that.
You saw that too.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, if it means counseling for him, it means he can get out of his mental space. I've seen some of my teammates be suspended too, and they just go off. We don't hear nothing from them. And then the Monday of the following week, that 4 weeks they've been away, oh, hey, you're back.
I don't really like that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's those two things I was glad that they kind of improved on is practice squad and suspended rehabbing guys.
Yeah. I think that's crazy that it never was that.
Kayla, and that's what we tried to stress to like the NFL, like, but they don't.
Yeah.
You're going to get me on my soapbox, right? Mm-hmm. They don't care in the sense of the product. They just want to see the production of the product. So, guess what, Shafe? 8 games. See you week 9.
Yeah.
That right there,
it is odd.
It's odd.
Because it's team. Everything is about team. And you don't want people to be isolated, because if you're punishing somebody, the last thing you really want to do is have them be isolated, because you want to get them into an environment to help rehabilitate, whether it's injuries, whether it's other problems that's going on. So it's a bit weird in that you don't want them to be in that isolation, but if you're from the outside looking in, where you're like, well, this person needs to serve a punishment, are they really being punished if they're still basically going to work every day? So I understand, Ramon, the optics of it if you're looking at it from the outside and you're saying, well, yeah, okay, this person's losing this check and they're not playing in the game, but they're still at work and they're around these people every single day. You know what I mean? It's kind of oxymoronic. It's odd.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially for a young player that gets into trouble with the Isaiah Wilson situation, do you think that was a good idea, that he was away from the facility for that amount of time, not around guys that could be a good example for him, could be trying to say, hey, this is a speed bump, you can get over this? No, instead, he was off doing more stuff to add to the resume of bad things for Isaiah Wilson to not keep him in the league. I think that's a prime example of where it's not good.
And that's where we needed a lot of help in, or the marijuana suspensions, or even the PEDs in a sense. It's just like you're already ostracized in the sense of just like you're out. But then we got to keep you far. For guys with like drug abuse issues, though, I'm like, sometimes like they need somebody to talk to about that type of stuff. And the league didn't lend that for a while, but now it's a little bit different.
Yep.
A quick start. We'll make a few points here and then continue when we get into the top of the next hour. It is Scout Meeting Wednesday. And again, the Titans are off this week on the bye week. So we're going to take a look at the Alabama Royal Crimson Tide as they take on the Tennessee Volunteers this weekend. And what is the biggest matchup between those two teams with everything that's at stake in many, many, many years. So, Ramon, quickly, for a few minutes here, let's start with the Alabama Crimson Tide offense.
I'll just start with this one. Of course, head coach Nick Saban, man, 6-0. It's interesting to say the bulk of this team's playmakers is from the 2020 Bryce Young recruiting class. Okay, Will Anderson is in that class. Yeah. Okay, both running backs that have the bulk of their yards is in that class too. Okay, and there's a sprinkle of a receiver too that's also in this Bryce Young class. So to say recruits don't matter, talk to somebody else that'll listen, okay? All right, because I won't hear that. They matter, man. And with that being said, this offense is scoring 44.3 points a game. That ranks them 5th out of 131 teams, man. I'll pivot right there, Shafe, because there's much more to go into. But that recruiting class of Bryce Young, he said, y'all got me, I got y'all. Let's go eat together.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Jahmyr Gibbs, who, by the way, he's really good.
Tennessee was I knew somebody was real close to them. They were very close to actually getting him, but it didn't work out. He's nice.
He is a dude, as Coach Mack would say. 8.3 yards per carry. Wow.
That ain't anything to joke about right
Nothing
there.
to sneeze at there. 6:53 right now, hour 2 of Ramon at Kayla and Will. When we come back, we'll continue with Scout Meeting Wednesday. Also, we'll talk to another VFL because, hey, let's talk to all of them this week. No, just joking around. Jayson Swain, host of Josh and Swain, 99.1 The Sports Animal, and Vol Network contributor, will join us in the next hour. He's Ramon Foster. She's Kayla Anderson. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Ramon Foster for Window Nation, and forecasters are predicting a colder and snowy winter, and winter is coming up fast. Are you prepared? Have your old windows lost their integrity? Yes, they can. Are they drafty, hard to operate, or single pane and inefficient? The experts at Window Nation can help you prepare your home to defend against the colder weather with incredible savings also. Right now, listen to me. Get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy and pay nothing until 2025. Imagine how much that 0% financing can save you. No payments to 2025. Add that to thousands more saved in energy savings over time. Leaves may be falling, but energy costs sure won't be anytime soon. And with expert installation from Window Nation, you'll join over 150,000 smart homeowners who have Window Nation windows protecting their home. Start saving with one call to 866-90-NATION or visiting windownation.com, where you can get 2 free windows for every 2 you buy. Listen to me. That's buy 2, get 2 free with no limit. Plus, pay nothing till 2025. Now's the time to winterize your home with this great offer before it leaves and rake in the savings. Call Window Nation now, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com and tell them Ramon sent you.
7:01, good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. 4 Major League Baseball playoff games yesterday. The Atlanta Braves trailed 7-1 after the top of the 5th inning, rallied all the way back to 7-6 with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, courtesy of a 3-run bomb from Matt Olson.
And the 2-2. Swung on a fly ball to center. Brandon Marsh back, still back. Back to the warning track. Back to the wall. It's out of here. It's gone. Straight away center field. And it's a 1-run game.
It was a 1-run game, but they couldn't push any more across. The Phillies lead the best-of-5 divisional round series, 1-0 Game 2 today, 3:35 this afternoon in Atlanta. And Yordan Alvarez, Kayla, this is going to hurt, smashed a walk-off 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th inning, vaulting the Houston Astros to an 8-7 win over the Seattle Mariners. Yankees defeated the Guardians 4-1. Dodgers a 5-3 win over the Padres. And the Minnesota Vikings have signed Theo Jackson from the Titans practice squad. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. The show goes on at 7:03 on this slightly gloomy Wednesday with a chance at scattered showers across Middle Tennessee today. What? We
What's
might actually
that?
get rain? Raindrops? What's that all about?
Right?
I need it.
Yeah, looking forward to that. But if you run into any of those showers, please, on the roads, be very, very careful because you're not used to driving in it right now. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling, Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson on the show. I liked in the open, Will talking about how he's the danger. Yeah, because you're contagious right now.
Put your bubble wrap back on.
Yeah, buddy.
Bubble boy.
Going down to Louisiana. What do you think you're going to get from those LSU Tigers, man?
Exactly. You trolled them, and
Told
guess
ya.
who won in the end?
He's got cat
Cajun
scratch
crew.
fever from that. He's got the
Cajun
Cajun,
crew.
the
Yeah.
Cajun crud is what he's got.
Yeah, that's the thing. Will.
But Will, unfortunately,
Cajun
under the weather, so can't join us today. Hopefully, we'll have him back at some point this week. Roberts Burt in the control room making everything happen this morning. And as always, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. All guests courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Jayson Swain, VFL, will be joining us in about 15 minutes. We are live, as always, on Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And you can follow us on Twitter at Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We ended the last hour with a scout meeting Wednesday as Ramon is still scrubbing the Crimson Tide off of him after looking at the notes last night to do our scout meeting Wednesday. And before we get into those details, Ramon,
Yeah.
your level of hatred for Alabama
Yeah.
has no bounds.
It doesn't. Like, legitimately, like, I know my wife and my youngest is in the car on the way to school right now. Like, let's erase, like, the search engines on the computers at home.
Yeah.
It pained me. Like, I was pacing in the house, like, doing this scout.
Hopefully, you were in incognito mode when you were doing that
I
search
was.
last night.
Like, I was, man. I was just like, I can't believe I got to go to rolltide.com. I couldn't believe it. Like, and me typing that in and realizing that it was rolltide.com just made me sick to my stomach, though.
So you'd never done it before?
Not
ever.
like this. Like,
Okay.
I probably just scathed over some Alabama stats and look. Like, I had no purpose to go to their website. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I was.
Right.
Like, even if on our subscriptions, like go Vols 24/7. Like, I click on that,
Yeah.
I see what the recruiting class looking like. I never had to dive into what they were or what they are, and I hate it. I hate it every minute of it. I'll be real with you. I'm writing, oh, he sucks, even though he's really good. You're trash. Oh, another transfer. Oh, another transfer. Oh, you got a 6-year senior too? Oh, it's not just him. Like, I had so much hate in, like, evaluating this team. Like, you see it in my notes. I was just like, this guy's a 6-year senior.
I
He's a
know.
7-year senior. This guy sucks. Another transfer. Here we go again. Like a lot of that was going in my mind. That's why I'm like, I hate this team.
You powered through, though. I was proud of you.
Well, he did a lot of, counseling through text last night as well.
Yeah, now he was grumbling like a child.
I was.
But he powered through.
Yeah, we had to be his support system.
I had to really talk to myself and be like, you know what? If my, I hate to even say this out loud, if my kids decided to go there.
Oh. Bert, make sure we got this recorded. All right, go ahead.
If my kids decided to go to Alabama.
There's always a chance.
It is.
It could happen.
Okay. They got a good baseball team and football team, right? They got good and basketball now too.
Yeah.
I really just got to make a decision. Like, do I put dad influence on that? Like, son, do you really want to go? Like, I would be that type of guy. But I'd accept it. I swear. I'm only wearing all black or like all neutral colors. I can't wear the red. I can't wear the red and white. I can't do any of that. Red and white.
Crimson.
See, even
Just
she's
making
correcting it,
details.
right? I know.
What would be worse before we continue Scout Meeting Wednesday? If you had a child that played for Alabama or eventually went on to play for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals or Cleveland Browns?
Oh!
I think both are going to happen now.
What one's worse?
Bama.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
Bama.
No.
Shape, that's like a double-edged sword there, man.
That's why I asked the question.
You mean to tell me I would have to go to a Cincinnati or a Cleveland game?
If you're a good father, you would.
I'll watch from home.
Dude, you heard Ryan Clark. He's going all the way to the West Coast to watch his son play.
But his kid doesn't play for an SEC school, though.
I know, that's true.
That's just like you're.
But you were talking about going to Cincinnati or the Browns.
I would, man. Both would be great accomplishments, right?
No, that's
Look
a
at that.
diplomatic answer.
I know.
Here
Okay,
we go.
I would probably hate it worse as a pro because then I could really talk trash to him, though. As like them living out the dreams in college, I can't be mad. Heck, if they went to Vandy, Alabama, Arkansas, I couldn't be mad at a Georgia.
But can you justify it because if in the NFL they're getting paid? So it's like, all right, you're here because you're getting a check.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Matter of fact, the Chief just spoke to White.
Yeah, I was going to
Quiche.
say.
Quiche.
I was waiting for.
Well, first of all, I know
Quiche's
Quiche is
reaction.
pissed at me for asking that question
Yeah,
in the first
I'm
place.
sure she is.
All right.
She said definitely Cleveland. And you're right. That's it
Yes,
right there.
yes.
Definitely Cleveland. Because then we got to drive further to go to Cleveland. Like Cincinnati ain't a bad drive.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Keisha's mad at me for asking, but she's nodding her head doing the Alonzo Morning gif
Right.
going, I know why you did it.
I know why
I
you
know why
did
you
it.
did
Yeah. God.
Let's continue our look into Scout Meeting Wednesday in the Alabama Crimson Tide offense, where we left off with a really good running back in Jahmyr Gibbs.
We did, man. I'll go here too. Just Bryce Young. I can't it's probably 98.9% he's gonna play,
Yeah.
right? Okay, we're there.
Yeah, he's in.
He's in, man. But defending Heisman winner, Bryce Young, not really a runner, and that's where it could really get UT. He's cerebral. Okay, he can run if you need him to, and that's also in the notes. Not really a runner, although he has 3 touchdowns and 155 yards on the ground too. Passing completion. 67% is actually higher than it was last year at this current moment. Okay, so he's gotten better. Over 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He spreads the ball around. Bama right now has been known as wide receiver U. We can say that,
Yeah,
right, Kayla? You've
absolutely.
They don't really have a number one
That's
right now.
what's crazy.
With all of that talent, no real number one right now. So it's just like whoever Bryce decides to get hot with that day is who he's going to, right? But on the other side, Jahmyr Gibbs, the transfer from Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
I can understand why he goes to Georgia Tech. They're a run-first type of team. Probably didn't know much about him. We do now. We do now. Okay. Also, this about Jahmyr Gibbs. He's their number 1 reception leader on this team.
Wow.
He's a running back, but he has more receptions than any of those other 5-star wide receivers they have on that team. He does, a running back. And if you see him play, you understand why. One player miss, he's gone. Or it's a chunk play. Yeah. He's that good and that shifty in space, man. He's got 22 receptions on the year. They want the ball in his hands. This transfer, and I put it in all caps, is super dynamic. In open space, hard to get down. 22 catches for 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's through the air. Also a screen game, whichever way you want to call it. On the ground, he's averaging 8.3 yards a rush. 8.3 yards a rush in the SEC. Okay, I know they hadn't had a heavy SEC schedule just yet, but he is 8.3 right now with 532 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. You stop him, I feel like we can win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Not even so much as Bryce. If you stop Jameer, you have an opportunity to win this game, man. Backing up him, Gibbs is also Jace McClellan. A former 4-star out of Texas, okay? He's averaging 6.4 yards a carry, also 3 touchdowns on the season. And this is the thing, too. Bama has played some, I hate to even say this, some cupcake teams, okay? Yeah. They've had some players, some teams on their schedule. Like, oh, okay, you can run your stats up a little bit right
I
there.
would say this. Tennessee's schedule has been a little more difficult than Alabama's has been.
Mm-hmm.
You said that? I didn't, okay? Because they'll be like, well, no, you're screw that. Okay. But he's also got 3 touchdowns on the season. Also has 3 receiving touchdowns too. No, 2 receiving touchdowns. So their backfield plays a huge part of what they're doing. On the other side of the ball is another 4-star from the same class, Roy Dale Williams. When he has the ball in his hand, he's averaging 5.6 a carry. Not many carries on the season for him, but they've been very efficient. Again, I wrote in there, they both signed with Bryce Young along with Will Anderson. That was a class. Finishing up with the tight ends and offensive line. All of the tight ends and tight end spots, okay? It's so much experience. Starting with the Vandy transfer, Tyler Steen. Listen to this as I speak about, they always talk about Hendon Hooker being an older guy. Mm-hmm. This guy is from the 2017 recruiting class.
That's crazy. That's hard to imagine that he's still there.
He's still there.
2017
recruiting class. And I don't blame him. If I stayed at Vanderbilt that whole time, I'd want to go to a winning organization too, okay?
Yeah.
That was my shot because it's football season, okay? But just in general, their left guard is a junior. Their center is a senior. The right guard is a redshirt senior, and they got a sophomore at right tackle who was also the number 1 tackle in the country last year, 3rd overall player in the country. But wait, there's more. There's a kid by the name of Tommy Brockmeyer in that same recruiting class as the right tackle, okay, that was the number 2 tackle in the country, okay, in the same class. There is no need to feel sorry for Alabama in any aspect of anything they got going on. We talk about the X's and O's. No, Saban has a stack of Jimmy and Joes that are ready to go. You got the number 1 and the number 2 kid in the class, okay? We up against the clock? Okay. All right. There's more after Swain, man, but Saban and recruiting and Bama has been.
It's reload.
It's real.
There's no doubt about that. We'll talk more about the Alabama offense and defense throughout the show. When we come back, talk about being real. Jayson Swain, VFL, host of Josh and Swain 99.1, the sports animal. Also, you can hear him on the Vol Network. He will join us when we come back. He's Ramon Foster. She's Kayla Anderson. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. Ramon, Kayla, and Will roll on after this on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Jonathan Schaefer for Lee Company. Looking to keep your home in great shape year-round? Sign up for a Lee Company home maintenance plan for $8.25 a month. $8.25 a month. That's it for the Lee Company home maintenance plan. Now, plan members receive 4 service visits a year from the Lee Company team of experts. You get a heating system tune-up, an air conditioning tune-up, an electrical inspection, and a detailed plumbing inspection. 4 annual visits, $8.25 a month. For the very best in-home service, that's Lee Company. 615-567-1000. Call today. You can also visit Lee Company online at leecompany.com. And to find out more about these plans I've been talking about, search Home Maintenance Plan at leecompany.com. You can join that membership, $8.25 a month. That's it. 615-567-1000, leecompany.com. Search Home Maintenance Plan. Lee Company, all you need. 7:22, Ramona, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. Again, we have some scattered showers throughout Middle Tennessee. If you're on the road, be careful out there because no one remembers how to drive in the rain or on wet roads because we haven't had any in about a month. All guests courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline as we are joined by a VFL right now in Jayson Swain, who is host of Josh and Swain on 99.1 The Sports Animal in Knoxville, also contributor to the Vol Network. Jayson, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
We are doing great. And Jayson, Josh Heupel has been universally praised and deservedly so. He's done a phenomenal job with this Vol squad so far. But how important have Alex Golesh, the offensive coordinator, and Tim Banks, the DC, been to the Vol's success so far?
I think everyone's been important. I mean, I think when you look at Josh Heupel, I think it's easy to give the head coach all the credit when things are going great. And, unfortunately, that same head coach gets all the blame when things are not going great. In this case, I mean, this staff has done a great job, including the coordinators, Tim Banks. I saw his greatness last year with a limited deck, and you see how they're playing right now. Didn't have the best outing against Florida, but found a way to win, and then came back after the bye week and had 5 sacks and forced turnovers. Pittsburgh game was the game that defense put the team on his back and carried Tennessee to a victory. Golesh is, man, he's next up. He's next up at bat to be a head coach in college football. Extremely, extremely intelligent, charismatic, and, man, the guys really respond to him. So Josh Heupel has a group that works well together, and that's what it's about. It's not about the names. We've seen that before with assistant coaches. It's about being a cohesive unit, and Josh Heupel's done a really good job of bringing a staff together.
We talk about the passing game and the fireworks from that passing game, but can the running game, which is a very important part of this Josh Heupel offense, and Hendon Hooker's off-schedule playmaking ability, can that continue against this really tough Alabama defense?
It's going to have to. It's going to have to. Tennessee's going to win. I mean, Hendon, I think, is going to have a Florida type of performance. He's going to have to run the football, use his legs and design runs and passing plays that turn into opportunities for him to run. And then the running game with Jabari Small and Jalen Wright, it has to go. It has to go. So Tennessee has to play the best game of the season against what Tennessee will see Saturday, which is the best defense that they've seen all season long.
Swain, man, you texted me before you came on, man. I feel like you got a personal gripe about your introduction music, man. You want to get that off your chest?
Yeah, man, I can't get going on Black Eyed Peas, man. We gotta get the 3-6 Mafia,
Yeah.
MJG, something like that, man. I can't get going with Fergie. I can't do it.
I had to let you get that off your chest, Swain, because Bird is usually pretty savvy, man. I was like, no, that ain't what Swain wanted this morning, man. But
Man,
aside from that, though, Swain, you are an Alabama-born kid, man, but you're Knoxville through the core. What does this game mean, man, with having the ability to actually say, okay, I feel like we got a shot this year?
you know what, Ramon? I am not Alabama-born, and boy, I am so proud of that, man. I was born in Illinois, around Chicago, and I did live in Huntsville, Alabama, for a couple of years there, about 17 to be exact. But, man, I am so glad to not be there and be in God's country here in Tennessee. What was your question again, Ramon?
No, apologize to him. Apologize to
Nice
him,
scouting
Mo.
report,
Apologize.
Mo.
You scouted Alabama and the team, and you were all pissed off about that, and now you screwed up with Swain.
I call out Bert too, man.
Man, what is your problem?
We keep each other accountable.
Man.
Swain, I apologize, man, okay?
He handled it like a pro,
He
too.
did handle it like a pro, Swain. Okay, my bad. And Bert, my bad for calling you out because players mess up, okay? Now we're back on track, Swain. I was just saying, since you was there for about 17 years.
I see what you're trying to do
I'm
now.
getting it back.
No,
I'm getting
you're
Swain
not. You
back.
can't get any back. You screwed up.
This is what we do, okay? Swain, what does it mean to be able to actually be in the conversation about this could be a year that you break that 15-year losing streak? I laugh through my pain.
Man, I would have never thought that this would be the year that you break this streak. The last time we beat Alabama, I was a senior, and beat them 3 out of 4 times. I was used to beating Bama, man. I feel like we should have beat them 4 out of 4 times. I keep thinking about that low score game in 2005, but Alabama has been at their best, and Tennessee has been at their worst during that stretch. And we can sit here and say that that's no longer the case. Tennessee is showing the country what it can be when everyone is pulling in the same direction, when everyone's on the same page, and when you have a head coach with vision, a head coach that knows what he's doing and is a good person and believes in bringing people together and spread positivity with his coaches and his players. I mean, those guys believe. Look at this team right now versus last year. Well, what is the big difference? There's not a huge difference personnel-wise. There's some few guys here and there that was added to this roster, but it's the belief level. It's these guys believing in what they're doing and believing in each other, and they're going out playing 100 miles per hour and having fun doing it. That's the difference for me. But Tennessee deserves to be here. It's not like Tennessee played some rinky-dink teams in the first couple of games of the season and a bunch of teams that were ranked in front of them just lost. No, Tennessee has beaten 3 top 25 teams. They have demolished LSU on the road. Tennessee belongs here. I think they're ready for this stage. It won't be too big for them at all, and they'll have 100,000 people having their back on Saturday, plus some.
Swain, also, this is probably the most talkative I've ever seen Coach Rodney Garner be this week. He's speaking about his defensive line, man. Just saying big guys got to play big. You're a look guy. You shouldn't be. He went in, man. Why do you think he's this way this week as opposed to others?
We're getting into the meat of the SEC schedule, Moan. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
You're not playing Akron anymore. You're not playing Ball State. You're in the meat of the SEC schedule where every week you're playing an SEC opponent, and it's about trench play on the offensive line and the defensive line. And you saw last week with LSU, Tennessee was dominant, rushing football, 200-plus yards, kept LSU from rushing the ball over 100 yards, had 5 sacks. That was the story. Hendon had a beautiful ball, man. It was, it was picture perfect. But look at that pocket. Look how clean it was. And that's what playing in the SEC is about. So Rodney knows. He's coached at Tennessee before. He's coached at Auburn. He's coached at Georgia. He knows what it's all about when you start hitting October and November, man. It's about that trench play.
All right, Jayson, can I call you Jay?
Hey, let's do it.
Okay, I like it. Jay, see? Already got some nicknames. So when we're talking about the wide receivers on this Tennessee team, they're stacked first and foremost, and you're talking about Cedric Tillman not even being able to play the last couple of games. We know the talent that he has. How impressed have you been with a guy like Brew McCoy that came in, didn't even know if he was going to be able to play for Tennessee, and really has stepped up when they've needed it?
Yeah, the theme is a relentless pursuit of continuous improvement, and that's what it's been for this entire team, collectively and individually. And especially for a dude like Brew McCoy, I remember watching him the first week of practice, and he's working with the threes. Wow. And he looked like he belonged with the threes, guys.
Wow.
And every week he has gotten so much better. Every day he's gotten so much better. Every day is like a week, and every week has been like a month for him. And now you can't really guard him, because if you guard him with someone small, he'll just big ball him and punk him and moss him and catch the ball and stiff arm guys and get extra yards. And then when you guard him with somebody a little bit bigger, he's fast enough to run by them. We saw that in the Pittsburgh game where he caught that deep pass from Hendon. So, man, Brew McCoy has been a big time addition to this team. And transfers are always not always guaranteed contributors for you. They're hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a reason why guys transfer from other schools. If someone that was taking care of the business and was, great on the field, those schools wouldn't let them leave. So Brew has some baggage, but this is the best situation for him. He had said that. He said it's the best decision that he has made in his life coming to the University of Tennessee. And so, man, you got to print that up and send that to every recruit in the country if you can.
Speaking of the best situation, Hendon Hooker is getting tons of Heisman talk right now. This game could be huge for him. with everybody's eyes on Tennessee, Alabama this weekend. With saying that, though, this is a kid that has gone through a lot of adversity, overcome a lot of adversity, didn't work out at Va-Tech. Talk about another transfer. How much has it been maybe his growth as just a player and a person, and how much has it been just simply fitting in with that Josh Heupel offense?
That's why he's ready for this moment, Kayla. I mean, the adversity that he's went through, the growth that he has had, I think it's a perfect fit with Heupel, allowing him to be himself. He's a tremendous leader. He's a tremendous human being, and he's a perfect fit for the University of Tennessee. And his adversity is the reason why he is having the season he's having so far right now. Nothing's too big for him because he's been through it all. Mm-hmm. He was kind of pushed out of Virginia Tech. He comes here to Tennessee, and he's not named the starter. But when he got his opportunity, he went out there and balled and led this team last year. And this year, he's doing it again, but times 10. So he's ready for this moment. He's one of the most fascinating stories in college football, and he's right there. Tier 1 Heisman Trophy candidate right there with C.J. Stroud. I mean, this is going to be a race to the finish, man, and him to continue to play the way he's playing.
Jayson Swain, host of Josh and Swain on 99.1 The Sports Animal in Knoxville, also a contributor to the Vol Network and a VFL, joins us here on Ramon at Kayla and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Jason, the Vols have had quite a bit of success getting after the quarterback so far. Those offensive lines they've gone against a little iffy, but that doesn't matter. The Vols are getting to the quarterback. But can this secondary hold up against Bryce Young if that pass rush is below its recent performances?
That's the question. Florida did not happen. Florida, I mean, Anthony Richardson had a field day, and he entered that game not throwing a touchdown pass, and he left that game throwing, multiple. So that's why it was so important for the pass rush to get to LSU, and it did. Alabama doesn't have those same receivers. They have good receivers, don't get me wrong, but they don't have those, Jalen Waddles and Devontae Smiths, and they don't have those guys, Henry Ruggs, that, run 4.2s and just will outrun everyone. They got good guys. Bryce Young is banged up. How much can he go, and how many hits can he really, really take? This is a game of physicality. So you got to touch him as much as possible and see how much he really wants to play through that shoulder injury. So it's going to be about the front four, the front seven for Tennessee, getting to the quarterback, stopping the run, just like in any game, but definitely in this game, if Tennessee wants to win this game.
Swain, am I too off track to ask this question, man, or assume this? I felt like the first two drives of the LSU game, Tennessee was intentional on running the ball in for a touchdown or just running the ball. Do you think that was in preparation for SEC play as far as the run game goes?
I think Tennessee saw the matchup and said, we're going to run the ball today because we can run the ball today. And I think anytime you're at the goal line, Ramon, and this is probably a question for you. I would want to run the football if I'm an offensive lineman. I don't want to pass it and cop out and run a fade route. I know scoring is the ultimate goal, and you're happy when you do it. But I want to run the football. I want to impose my will. I want to push the line of scrimmage. And a guy like Javonte Spraggins, man, he is special. Cole Kubelik loves him, his ferocity, his intensity. Guys like that, man, you got to run behind them and let them eat there at the goal line, and that's what Tennessee did, man. They just really moved the line of scrimmage, and I've heard over the last year and a half about Josh Heupel's offense. I've heard on College Game Day being an air raid, and people think it's a finesse offense. No, man, they want to punch you in your mouth. They just want to do it fast, but they want to punch you in your mouth first. It's just a tempo makes people think that it's a finesse offense. It's not finesse at all. We want to street fight every play.
Okay, I'm going to take it above Josh Heupel. I'm going to go all the way to the AD, Danny White. And short time on the job here has been able to get so much done. I feel like has gained the respect of Big Orange Nation. I mean, I just feel like this guy has come in, had a business-like attitude, has done the right things. You've got College Game Day back for the second time in 3 weeks. Like, how impressed have you been with what Danny White's been able to do in terms of bringing Tennessee football in a way back?
Danny's biggest
compliment is that Danny knows what he don't know. Like, when he got here, he didn't pretend like he knew it all and he was some ball historian. What he did was he shut up and listened. He sat down with people and said, hey, like, what do you think? How do you feel?
Yep.
And he just was all ears. And in doing that, he really gained an opportunity to understand the pulse of this fan base. And that's why the ball letters are up, and that means so much to so many people. He has been really great at that. And the experience always helps. But the first time in a very, very long time, you've had the president, chancellor, and AD on the same page, and you got a pretty damn good coach too. And so when you have, that synergy, you see the results on the playing field and on the basketball court, for basketball, and on the diamond for baseball. So athletics is in a really, really good spot, and I don't anticipate that changing any time behind Danny White's leadership.
Jayson, your boots in the ground. It's only Wednesday, but how lit is that town
Yeah.
right now?
Didn't I tell y'all I'm listening to 8-Ball MJG this morning and 3-6 Mafia? We ready to go over here. It's Wednesday. I'm not playing with y'all.
Nope.
Don't play no Black Eyed Peas again, all right?
Oh!
Take it out of rotation. Take it out of rotation, guys. We can't keep busy off that.
We know how to intro him.
That's
in the
what
future.
yeah, absolutely. You set the standard, Swain.
No, we fired up, man. We fired up over here. We ready, man. We're going to blow the roof off this thing this weekend. It is going to be electric here. So I can't wait. I'm happy for our fans. Our players, they put the work in. Our coaches put the time in as well. But, man, next to that group, I'm so happy for our fans. Our fans deserve this so much. They've been through so much, and I'm just thrilled, tickled to death that they have a team that they can get behind, brag about. It's going to be fun this weekend, guys.
Yeah.
He is the Swain event, and he is the co-host of Josh and Swain on 99.1 The Sports Animal. Jayson, appreciate it. The crew's going to be up there on Saturday. Hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to you and say, hey, who ride, Jayson, in this one?
That's right. Hey, just like Josh Heupel said, Rocky Top is back. Let's go.
I love it, Swizzy.
All right, appreciate it. Jayson Swain has joined us courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. We'll take a quick break, and we come back, respond to his comments, and revel in what is Bama week around these parts. He's Ramon Foster. She's Kayla Anderson. I'm Jonathan Schaefer. The show goes on after this on 104.5 The Zone.
People here know Genesis Diamonds as the value leader. They've proven it. You know why? Genesis is a true direct importer with connections that go back for 50-plus years. No middleman markups, no consignment fees, no third-party people to pay. But one thing people here really love about Genesis, this is where you can get her a better ring, a designer ring, a handcrafted ring that reflects how you see her. While other stores sell knockoff rings or poor quality overseas rings, at Genesis, you can get her a stunning designer ring made here in America by top designers. These are rings made to last. Bottom line, she will proudly show off a Genesis ring because it won't be a mass-produced ring. It will be something unique, something amazing. And don't worry about the price either. Genesis will make sure you can get a designer ring that fits your budget with the diamond she will love. That's what Genesis specializes in, combining the best diamond value with the best quality ring to give her the total package with also a free lifetime warranty as well. Genesis Diamonds, where luxury and value come together every day. Check them out in Green Hills and Cool Springs. And don't forget the all-new collection of amazing luxury pre-owned Rolex watches.
It was a beatdown. It was so severe it made Will Bowling sick this week. Bob Kessling of All Network. Bob Kessling will be joining us this week. He'll be joining us tomorrow. And we got it confirmed about 30 minutes ago, big man. Moan, tell us who's going to be joining us on the show Friday.
The ball coach, Coach Former, man, was like, he'd love to come on Friday.
Yeah.
Love
Coach Fulmer going to be a part of the show 9 o'clock on the Friday. So put that on your calendar, and we're working on a few more.
Yeah, we are. With
Yeah.
a best week of the year is what he sent in his text message back to me.
Should we play the drop of him saying, the Vols are back, and they're going to take a bite out of something? Because I think that'd be funny.
I mean, Coach is a funny guy.
I think he's got a good enough sense of humor. I mean, you
yeah.
basically trashed his former offensive coordinator to his face in Dave Clawson.
I did,
so.
and he laughed, but
Yes,
he told
see.
me, he said, Mom, we got to move on. He did. That's Bab's guy, too, though.
He's Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson in here. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. Our guy Bert spinning the tunes in the control room today as we are quickly approaching halftime of the show. Mike in Murfreesboro joining us right now at 615-737-1045. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm on my way to work.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, today. Hey, I got a real confession to make.
Uh-oh.
I feel so sorry for all the Bama fans rolling to Knoxville. They're gonna get their butt whooped for the first time in 12 years. I'm a Vol dog. I went to Mississippi State. I couldn't get into Tennessee, but that's okay. There's no love lost. Go Vols, we're gonna whoop them.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah, we are. I love that. Yeah, I'm okay with that, Shafe. I'm not okay with Joe Hunk doing it. I'm okay with my guy right there.
It was a topic that was brought up yesterday during 3HL.
Yeah.
That Bama fans have been kind of quiet.
Yes, they have.
Even on the social medias.
True.
They've been kind of quiet.
Yes, they have. But the thing, they're so good. They've been historically so good. I think the thing about Bama has been this. It seems like if there was a time for them to set up to be beat, which might mean they're probably getting stronger, you got to look at the games they've got out, though, like as of late. Like they went toe-to-toe. Who was the smallest school that they ended up playing like super close?
Well, they first played Texas close.
They played Texas close, but Texas, of course, played up for that one.
Yeah.
They've now got their starting quarterback.
Yeah, they also
back.
lost
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers in that game.
Yeah.
They did lose Quinn, but they played them really close. A&M.
Yeah.
That
Did
was.
you just call them the little school?
You called them a little school.
I'm looking up the roster right now to
I
see who
think that
else
was
they
your
played.
word.
Site.
Those were
How
your
more
words.
condescending can you be, Ramon, toward Texas A&M?
You know that little Aggie school over there, the agriculture
I know
school?
I'm inviting you for a good time by saying that.
You know me all too well, Shafe. But Arkansas quarterback also got knocked out of the game too.
Yeah.
So they've played some good teams, man. I'm just shocked. It seemed like if it was going to happen this weekend, let me get off this soapbox real quick. Defense real fast, okay?
Yeah,
It's
scout
not
meeting Wednesday, Alabama defense.
Not a whole lot to say about them.
Other than
because
they're really good.
They're really good, exactly. Giving up 12.5 points per game. That ranks them 6 out of 131 teams, man. That's really good. 17.5 sacks on the season, too. They're led by Will Anderson. Not a whole lot to be said when you got him on your team. Like, that's like having Von Miller. That's like having Aaron Donald on your team. You got to watch him, but they also have other guys, man. He has an interception and a defensive touchdown. Also, 10 tackles for loss, okay, on the season. As dynamic as any player. I said this in my notes, and it's crazy that they got 2 Heisman candidates on their team. Will Anderson should have probably won the Heisman last year.
He was so good last year.
Okay? He legitimately was, man. And I put
Too
in
bad
there.
he plays defense.
Well, I know.
You're not going to win a Heisman
Yeah,
playing
you're not,
defense.
unless you're a quarterback, really.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the Peyton Manning reference. I'm waiting for it.
I got nothing.
Yeah, I can hear everybody in their cars screaming at me. For it.
Peyton. Henry Toto, I call him the traitor. I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I get it. Him and Butch, I just couldn't, man.
Okay. Hold on. Let's stop for 1 second. I understand why you feel the way you do about
I'm a loyalist, and you know
about
that
him
too.
transferring.
Yeah.
To there.
But you get it too, though, right? Yeah, that's.
He doesn't get it.
No, let's push you aside. Kayla, you get it though, right?
Yeah, I get it. It is. I'm sure it's tough for Vols fans. I'm not a Vols fan. I'm
Right.
not, but I cover
Understood.
the Vols. But I could see it being a little bit of a difficult situation. But when it comes down to it, they got to make the decision that's best for them.
This is true.
Because that's it. They don't care what the fans. I mean, what do the fans have to do with it? It's about what's going to push me to the next level. And for him, going and playing for Alabama, and obviously he's done a great job fitting in there.
It's such a bigger conversation because if you're that guy anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what, though, Moan? And we can carry this into the next hour. It's not.
It's not what?
It's not a bigger conversation.
I mean,
in that he needed to make a change for him.
Yeah.
And he went to Alabama. Would he be as hated upon as if he would have went to Georgia?
I'll say the same thing about Kamara, too. He did the exact same thing.
When you have,
but I think this is separate though too. Kamara wasn't playing much at Alabama.
Yeah, where Toa Toa was
a starter.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's where that line is crossed to me.
But do you want to go through 18 coaches and different coordinators and this and that? I mean,
I get it. I mean, he's a kid, and his family helped make that decision for him. That is a collective decision by them and theirs, and it's benefited him. Fine, that's beautiful. That's just me. If my boys is in that situation, I say, man, you know what this is. We can't do that school. You can go somewhere else.
Right, but you're also a VFL.
You can't do the school that wins all the natties.
It's front runner-ish.
I like myself a natty.
He didn't get one, though, did he?
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'll even drink a natty
He went
light
to
at
a
this
place that is kind of known for that in the last several
Moan made a
years.
business decision. And look, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you can't feel that way. That's completely understandable. Kid made a business decision. I get it. 615-737-1045 if you want to chime in to the conversation. It is a Bama hate week. We will continue with the scout meeting Wednesday on the Bama defense when we come up on the other side. We'll also talk to Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports, who had some high praise for the Vols. And think about this, as we'll be gone for a few minutes. How are you celebrating Bama hate week? We'll discuss when we come back. It is Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone.
The 2023 model year Fords are out at Two Rivers Ford. And as always, you can count on Two Rivers Ford to make purchasing a 2023 Ford fast, easy, and fun. There are so many ways to shop, too. You can stop by the dealership in Mount Juliet. They're just east of the Nashville airport, okay? Or you can reach out by phone to any of their non-commissioned salespeople at 800-900-1000. Yes, that is the number, 800-900-1000. Or you can head to tworiversford.com to check out their inventory or to custom order the exact Ford you want. Whether it's a F-150, a Bronco, an Explorer, Escape, or Expedition, Two Rivers Ford can make sure you get exactly what you want for the price that is well below MSRP, and that goes for custom orders too. In fact, Two Rivers Ford has been selling all non-specialty new Fords below MSRP for decades. And speaking of decades, you always hear me tell you that Two Rivers Ford has been locally owned here since 1983, and we all know how much they do for our Middle Tennessee community. But did you know that Two Rivers Ford is also nationally recognized? Two Rivers Ford is one of Ford Motor Company's top 40 sales dealerships in this country, and that's out of almost 3,000 dealerships. No wonder they're able to sell at such great prices. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They've won the Ford President's Award for customer satisfaction numerous times, and they're just great people. Reach out to Two Rivers Ford and see for yourself what everybody else is talking about. Two Rivers Ford, powered by Ford, driven by people.
Good morning. It's 8:02. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. 4 MLB playoff games yesterday. The Atlanta Braves trailed 7-1 after the top of the 5th inning. They rallied all the way back to 7-6, had 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, courtesy of a 3-run jack from Matt Olson.
And the 2-2. Swung on a fly ball to center. Brandon Marsh back, still back to the warning track, back to the wall. It's out of here! It's gone! Straight away center field, and it's a 1-run game.
Unfortunately for the Braves, that's as close as they could get. The Phils lead the best-of-5 divisional round series 1-0. Game 2 today at 3:35 in Atlanta. Yordan Alvarez smashed a walk-off 3-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th inning as Kayla glares at me, vaulting the Houston Astros to an 8-7 win over the Seattle Mariners. Yankees 4, Guardians 1, Dodgers 5, Padres 3. And the Minnesota Vikings have signed Theo Jackson from the Titans practice squad. Of course, he was a star at Overton High and also with the Vols. For my foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. Hour 3 of Ramon, Kayla, and Will right here on 104.5 The Zone. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. 11-year NFL veteran and VFL. Ramon Foster in studio. A Cougar, and in all the ways that are appropriate, Kayla Anderson next to me. That's because she went to Washington State,
Cougs.
boys and girls. Go Cougs. Who's flying the flag
Old Crimson, baby.
in Knoxville
Best
on
tradition in
Saturday.
college football.
Hey, now.
And we are
Let's go.
And we're very excited about that. Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Live on the Zone TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow us on Twitter and be all ratchet as much as you want at Ramon, Kayla, Will, all guests courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Brad Crawford, our friend at 24/7 Sports, national college football writer, will join us. Rhett Bryan at 9 o'clock. And Inky, speaking of VFLs, 9:50, going to redeem us and also give us some midweek motivation at that time. Momentarily, we'll get back to the scout meeting Wednesday in the Alabama defense. Right now, we go to Bama JC from Springfield. What's going on?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Miss Kayla, how you doing?
How you doing?
Man, Mr. Schaefer, it's a pleasure to speak with the best producer in the world, man. It's an honor, man. But I'm here to talk to one particular individual, and that's you, Mr. Foster. I'm looking into this camera right now. And I want you to look in that camera on the YouTube. You looking at me? Are you looking at me right now?
I got you.
Are you looking at? No. Are you looking at me?
I got you.
Bama gonna drag y'all. Y'all ain't seen nothing like this, my boy.
Yeah.
These 4 games, y'all talking about the AP, top 4 wins, blah, 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 blah. Dude, those teams won Alabama, brother.
Yeah.
Those won Alabama. And I called yesterday to talk to your brother, bro, and I had a letter for him. I don't know if you heard or not, but I had a letter for him. It was to you, the whole entire fan base of the Vols. And it said, Bama going to drag y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to leave you with this right here, though. 2 little things. Nick Saban has more wins in Neyland Stadium than Josh Heupel does. Well, tired, brother.
That's cool.
We know who that was.
You hear my response?
Yeah.
My response is very calm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It was unbothered. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you something.
But you were holding your blood's boiling.
No.
I'm
It's like this is like the worst moan right here. Okay, like hey,
yeah, I can tell.
This is the worst moan right here.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm not. This is the worst me. I don't even want to refer to myself in third person. Okay, like that was cute. What was his name again? I forget his name that quick.
Bama JC from Springfield.
Bama JC. That's the last part that gets me.
Yeah.
Bama JC from Springfield, Tennessee.
Wonder who that is.
Okay? It might be Josh. I don't know who it is.
Couldn't be Josh.
I don't know. Let me just say this real quick. You are, sir, and it sounds like you're not an older individual. Okay?
All right. Just before you continue.
No, okay.
Just.
No, I'm really calm. I'm really calm, okay? Because I looked him in his eyes on the camera, okay? I hope he's still listening, okay? As he's on his way to work right now. It's this part for me. You're a Tennessee resident, and you sound like you're probably my age or younger, not much older if you are than me. And you're an Alabama fan that's in Tennessee. Okay, you're in Springfield of all places. Most people that are in Springfield, they love Robertson County, okay? My wife's from Robertson County, okay? Robco is what they call it, all right? So we're at this point right now to where you're a Tennessee-born guy that lives in Springfield, Tennessee, but you root for Alabama. That's the problem for me, okay, JC from Springfield, who's an Alabama fan? That makes zero sense to me. It's okay, we know the Vols have been down, all right? I understand it. That's what fans do. We stick this out. What we don't do is live in Springfield, Middle Tennessee. It's about 2 hours away from Knoxville, and decide, you know what? I'm going to go buy me a red crimson flag to put on the back of my car. You, sir, are a front runner. You want to be a part of winners. Let me guess, you also were a New England Patriots fan. And not just that, you were a Golden State fan. And then you were a Cleveland fan, too. Let me guess, now you're a Tampa Bay fan. This is what y'all do when you're a Tennessee-born Alabama fan. I get it. I'm okay with Tennessee being down. I know right now we're a good school. I know right now what we have in front of us is probably way better than what y'all got in front of you. You're hanging onto the coattails of Nick Saban. Most Alabama fans will be like, I'm a Bama fan. And then when Saban's done, oh, I was a Nick Saban fan. JC, the Bama fan in Springfield, sir, you have no justification for your rant just now. And because of that, I appreciate it. And you need to now go to the Kayla Anderson Master School of Trash Talking because, Kayla, you saw me. I was unbothered.
You played the part well.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Hey, go Mariners.
Go M's.
Go M's. I like it.
Get with the program.
I'm new at that one. See, even she's trash talking after I was done.
You know what, Moan?
What's that?
They even heard you in the overflow.
Get you so.
They even heard you in the overflow.
Well, so many collection plate.
See,
That's
he
right.
made his point with a lot of authority, a lot of passion. He didn't go too far.
He didn't.
But I give that a good. I give it a good 8 out of 10. Right?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
David in Nashville, welcome to the ratchetness that is Ramon, Akela, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. What's up, David?
What's up, David?
Hey, Ramon, I enjoyed that. Thank you. Now I'm going to have to go to something a little more serious, Ramon. I may need you to give out some marital counseling advice if you can.
Oh.
My son's best friend allowed his future bride-to-be to schedule their wedding this Saturday during the UT-Alabama game. And I could forgive this maybe, write it off to young people. The young man actually worked at the Mercedes dealership that Saban owns a part of. And he's even met Nick Saban. And to allow this to happen, especially now that both teams are undefeated, I don't know what to say. I mean, the wedding gift that they were going to get just went down.
Yeah.
But I'm being facetious. I love the kid and their family, and they're probably hearing this, so I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, let's be real. You love them right now.
It's Bama hate
It's
week.
right now. It's Bama hate week. Let's be real about this.
Yeah, but I may have had other plans if it weren't for the wedding on Saturday. I'm just saying.
I feel you. I hear it, David, in your voice, man. You got to love them. That's all I can tell you, okay? You got to love them, and you wish them well. But
it's not ultimately his decision,
It's
though.
not.
It's the woman's.
Kayla, you go ahead and elaborate then. Let them.
It is, and that's how you have to think of it, because I'm on the same page as you. I would be the woman who would never let this happen.
Yeah.
But not everybody's like me. Not everybody loves sports, right?
See?
So, I mean, just give him his present, give them their wedding gift, and have your phone ready, have everything going under the table when nuptials are happening and you're screaming out loud and everybody's wondering what's going on. You said, well.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
David, are you paying for this wedding? Who's paying for this wedding? Oh, David's gone.
David's
gone.
Just getting good, Dave.
Lisa in Nashville. You're on Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. What's up, Lisa?
Hi, Mr. Foster and lady and gent. I actually went to Alabama. I went to UNC as well, so I am not a front runner. I'm just a fan of the schools I went to. But there was a conversation yesterday afternoon related to why Alabama fans weren't calling in and why we weren't saying. And I'm not saying this as I don't know what's going to happen this weekend. We are weaker than we have been in a bit. And you are stronger, and I still think we're going to win, but neither here nor there. I'm going to leave that there.
Lisa, can I give you your credit real quick? Lisa, you went to Alabama. I respect the heck out of that. Okay, I'm not pushing back at you or anything you got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And so what I want to say, and I honestly don't mean this offensively, but there was a whole thing yesterday. Well, why are we calling it? Well, the reason we're not is. We don't see Tennessee as a rivalry. You haven't been up. I mean, we beat you a number of times. I'll just leave that number, out there. And maybe this will be a change, but we don't see you as a rivalry. This is just another game. You see us as a rivalry, and you're all, charged up, and maybe that'll win for you. But that's why we're not super concerned about this. I mean, I'm going to watch it, but it's not like, oh my God, my world is depending on this. And I don't want to say it's cute, but it is really cute.
See, you had me to then, Lisa. We was real good until you went there, Lisa.
She just blessed your heart, Mo.
Oh my gosh! But you know what? I'm okay with it. Your points are valid. I won't even push back at it, Lisa, other than go Vols.
Lisa, we got to run. Thank you for the phone call. Here's the thing.
That was good.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
She ain't wrong.
She ain't. No. But can I say this, though, real quick? I talked to, Marquita has a cousin that played at Alabama, and he was just like, it still is that, though. In the locker room,
in the locker room,
in the locker room.
Right.
Yes.
But not for all fans, because I've heard this on numerous occasions.
Yep.
From Alabama fans that they do not consider it a rivalry, while you all consider it a rivalry right now.
And
hopefully that rivalry will be renewed.
Yes.
Perfect example of that. The Titans would say Steelers week. You played in Pittsburgh. It was never Titans week.
It was let's go get this dog.
Interesting.
Now Colts week, that's a little bit different. That's division and all that.
Yeah.
But when Titans would go Ravens week, Baltimore wasn't going, hey, it's Titans week.
Right.
Yeah. So, again, the circumstances are slightly different, but those are true. And the number's 15 in a row.
Yeah.
It's 15 in a row.
Lisa got a great point.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Vandy fans would say it's a rivalry with Tennessee, and then Tennessee would say, we've beaten your brains in for 30 years.
You call us dad.
So it's but it is the same thing.
It is.
It is the same thing.
Yeah.
When we come back, Brad Crawford, 24/7 Sports, and we'll try to work in more of your phone calls as well. I knew once we lit that match, it was going to light everything up.
Oh, baby.
I knew it was just, y'all hang on. We'll get to you as soon as we can. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. Get better, Will. Want to get you back here in the studio. You're listening to 104.5 The Zone.
Hey, it's Ramon Foster on behalf of my PhD weight loss. Now, you guys heard me speak about this a few times already, and let me just tell you, if it's something you're thinking about as far as weight loss or just changing your life a little bit, you know what? Let me get this weight off before the holiday season. Well, you need to go holler at myphdweightloss.com simply because it's doable. A lot of the times these diets have you eating crazy amounts of just grease and just crazy amounts of just nothingness, and it's empty calories, and it's this and it's that. Not this, okay? This is a design plan specifically for each individual in a sense that, look, my diet isn't like Buck's, and I'm okay with that. I'd probably rather not be like Buck's diet, okay? Simply because It's for me. The holiday season's coming up, or you just want to make this life change. I'm telling you, go to myphdweightloss.com. It's something that's very beneficial to you. My body has felt better when I'm lifting. My joints aren't hurting as much as they used to be because they helped me clean up what I was doing bad. And I have to admit, I was doing some bad stuff, okay? But I'm down about 15 pounds. I'm feeling good about myself, and everything is working in the right direction. Again, myphdweightloss.com. Go see them, have the conversation. I'm speaking to Rachel tomorrow about my progress. This is something that's been very cool for me. So, myphdweightloss.com. Go see them.
824, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Yeah, we got that rivalry stoked up. The Vols fans worked up. Bama fans saying, this ain't no rivalry. Well, when you win 15 in a row,
it ain't.
You can kind of say
do what
that.
you want when you popping, right?
That's fair. You can watch us live on Zone TV, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, also on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Ramona Kayla Will. And all guests courtesy of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We're joined right now by our friend Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports. Brad, good morning.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's been a while since we've seen Tennessee players smoking cigars, but I think that happens on Saturday afternoon.
Yay, Brad just called it. Brad just said. He said Tennessee getting the win.
Why so, Brad? Where are you at in this?
I just think, man, that the last couple of seasons, Bama on the road has been spotty at best compared to what we've seen, most of Nick Saban's tenure. And look, this season's schedule for Alabama away from Tuscaloosa has been the toughest schedule, Saban has faced. And here's another game Saturday where Bama's a small favorite. I think they're playing the best quarterback in the SEC right now through 6 weeks in Hendon Hooker. And as long as Tennessee does not turn the football over, I think even if Bryce Young plays, he will not be 100%. And I think the Vols come through on a very, very big stage.
And I want to follow up with a recent tweet that you had, Brad, that's along similar lines. If Tennessee beats Alabama on Saturday, I'm projecting the Vols to make the college football playoff at 11-1 with a road loss to Georgia as long as the Bulldogs win the SEC. Now, we're just going to project forward. We're going to move past Alabama and everything for a second. You've got Bama, Georgia's coming up. Aside from possibly Kentucky, depending upon the health of their quarterback and Will Levis, is there a banana peel game in the remainder of that schedule for the Vols?
I think the road game at South Carolina could get difficult, only because South Carolina has won 3 straight games. Mm-hmm. They seem to be finally figuring it out, in Shane Beamer's second season. And Spencer Rattler has really played much better than he has the first month of the season these last couple starts. So that's a game that South Carolina, Tennessee, the last couple of years, Tennessee has really played well in that SEC East rivalry, but that's the second to last game of the year. Vanderbilt's the finale for the Vols. That's a road game where Tennessee has lost in the past at Williams-Brice Stadium. And, if Tennessee's able to beat Alabama, beat Kentucky, if they do lose to Georgia, and they need to finish 11-1, that's a huge game on the schedule.
Now, your employer, 24/7 Sports, says Hendon Hooker is the SEC's #1 quarterback entering this week with Bryce Young #2, and Bryce Young is a little banged up. How can Hendon Hooker overcome Alabama's defense and continue this Heisman campaign we all think he's on?
Yeah, those were my rankings, actually, and I've liked Hooker throughout the year. I had him as a top 5 quarterback nationally coming into the season. Spoke to him in Atlanta at SEC Media Days and just really found him to be a calm, cool, and confident quarterback. And, he's a guy at 31 touchdown passes last season, 10 already this season, has not thrown a pick yet, and this is the best quarterback Alabama has faced through 6 weeks. Quinn Ewers, Texas quarterback, really cut up Bama in that first quarter in week 2 before he got hurt. And I think you're going to see the same thing Saturday as long as Tennessee's wide receivers, don't have the dropsies and don't, crap the bed on the big stage. So I think Tennessee's wide receivers can make plays against Bama's DBs. We saw last week A&M won several 50-50 balls late in that game to make it a, one play winner take all type game in Tuscaloosa. So Tennessee makes big plays early Saturday and Bama faces an early deficit. I think you'll see some issues for the Crimson Tide.
That's the thing about, Alabama, though, just in general. Like, even if their offense is kind of spotty, as Saban says, they're rebuilding. The defense is hold steady. 12.5 points, so, Brad, like, that's kind of hard to kind of sniff at whenever you say, all right, they're going up against a high-flying type of offense like Tennessee. How do you see that translating over?
Yeah, I think Josh Heupel is going to have to continue to go for fourth downs. I mean, when it's 4th and 1 at midfield, you don't need to punt the ball if you're trying to beat, the nation's 3rd-ranked team, a team you haven't beaten in more than a decade, 15 straight, I think it is. So Josh Heupel's got to gamble a little bit Saturday. And like I said, if Tennessee can make it out of that first quarter with a lead possibly, then the pressure goes to Alabama. I mean, you're going to have 100,000 plus screaming when Alabama's on offense, and Alabama had 4 turnovers last week, and I wouldn't expect Bryce Young to make those same mistakes that Jalen Milroe made against A&M, but it's an opportunity, I think, for Tennessee to get an early lead in this game and then let the crowd, kind of have its way with Alabama the rest of the way.
Did you expect Tennessee to compete like that against LSU? I know Brian Kelly is new at this, but where's the breakdown of the LSU program when you see a team like Tennessee do what they did to them?
I think the major issue right now for LSU, besides its offensive line, which is really struggling, by the way, Will Campbell missing that game Saturday really let Tennessee feast. And Tennessee did not bring a ton of pressure. They did at times, but I think Tennessee had, several sacks in that game, really harassed Jaden Daniels. What I see right now, man, from that LSU offense is Jaden Daniels, once his first read's covered, he's ready to run. And LSU has a bunch of really good wide receivers, Malik Neighbors, Kayshon Boutte. He's struggling right now, but he's a guy who's probably a first-round pick next year. So I think maybe the best quarterback at LSU is not playing right now in Garrett Nussmeier. And I think going into that game against Florida Saturday night, you're going to see a different LSU team. And, as long as LSU doesn't spot Florida 10 points in the first quarter, you should see a much less lopsided score.
When you talk about Tennessee's defense, I think we've all brought up the point that the secondary is not the strongest part of that defense, but you had mentioned just the sacks they were able to get on Daniels this past weekend, 5 sacks in that game for the Tennessee front. Just how big is it going to be to continue putting the pressure on a guy like Bryce Young? Because obviously Alabama can also run the ball. That's really what they've done well this year. Their running backs also active in the pass catching game. So just how much will that emphasis be on just putting that pressure on for that defensive front?
Yeah, you sort of alluded to it there. When Bryce Young finds Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield on these screen passes and check downs, I think Tennessee's linebacker play has to be elite on Saturday. You can afford to give up a 8 or 9 yard gain to Jahmyr Gibbs. What you don't want to do is on 3rd and 9 let him hit you for 65. In the screen game. That's where Tennessee's defense can run into problems. So Josh Heupel's mentioned it as well. This so far for the most part this season, Tennessee has tackled well defensively. Hasn't had a ton of breakdowns. I know in the Florida game, Anthony Richardson a few times, was able to get loose and make plays on the run with his feet and through the air. But, Bryce Young's a guy who's, let's face it, if he plays this weekend, he's not going to be 100%. I think that the Vegas line at 7 points right now tells me that Bryce Young is definitely playing. Those odds makers tend to know more than we do, 72 hours or so before kickoff. So I just think Tennessee's linebacker play and up front, as you mentioned, they have to tackle well and be able to pressure Bryce Young and tackle Jahmyr Gibbs.
Tennessee clearly has, the weapons. They've got this offense that is hard to stop. But when you look at this matchup and going into it and feeling confident if you're a Tennessee fan, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you've got a head coach now who knows how to prepare their team the right way for big moments. How much does that go into something like this? And just the fans feeling confident, like Josh Heupel has this team ready no matter who we're facing.
Yeah, I think preparation and execution has been pretty much flawless for Tennessee this season. You go back to week 2 at Pitt, that was kind of a barometer game for the Vols. They were a preseason top 25 team, crushed Ball State in that opener, and then a lot of us, wondered, how are they going to fare on the road against a team that won the ACC Coastal last year. You go back to the home game against Florida, 3-0 Tennessee with Florida coming to town, having to end that streak against the Gators. They were able to do that. And then during the open week, I was a little bit worried Tennessee heading to Death Valley with Alabama looming. We didn't know how the Vols would play in that game, and, Vols pretty much kicked LSU's tail early. So I just think Josh Heupel has his program clicking on all cylinders right now. And, man, you have to think that Neyland Stadium is going to probably be the best environment in Week 7 for any home team, and that's certainly advantageous to the Vols.
Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports joins us here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. The Vols have an excellent team, Brad, as we know, and they're benefiting from several SEC teams being slightly down from previous years. I'm comparing that a lot to James Franklin's final year at Vanderbilt. Both of these things can be true. And while that shouldn't discredit the Vols, has that accelerated the process for Tennessee winning bigger sooner? Even Danny White has admitted that things are going a little ahead of schedule.
I think it certainly helps that you get to play LSU on the road in the daytime and against a first-year coach and Brian Kelly. You know, if that game was against a top 10 LSU team and 8 p.m. kickoff, maybe, you know, that game would have wound up differently. But Florida's down as well. Another first-year coach. Kentucky's struggling right now without Will Levis at quarterback. So, I mean, you know, schedule favorability, as everybody on this call who's followed SEC football for a long time knows, I mean, that's the key to making the playoff in this brutal conference. And here Tennessee has a prime opportunity Saturday against it's an elite Alabama team, but it's not one of Nick Saban's best teams. I think everybody can see that watching the games. Bama's due for a loss. I do think it comes Saturday. And then the rest of the way, you really have to like how the schedule sets up for Tennessee. You know, Vols get Kentucky at home. They get Missouri, a bad Missouri team at home. And really that road game against Georgia the rest of the way is going to be the only game on the slate where Tennessee is not favored to win.
Brad, you follow college football very closely because of your job, man. You've seen trends. You've watched programs get good, get bad, man. Talk me off the ledge, man, as far as just saying the Vols are back or just the same way as Texas has in the past and we hadn't seen much from them. Like, how sustainable is this year for next year and the year after and year after that?
Yeah, I think it starts with roster depth. You know, we see Kirby Smart. I mean, Mark Richt for more than a decade averaged 10 wins a season, but he couldn't win the big game. You know, he couldn't, you know, get to that BCS championship game, couldn't get to the playoff and get Georgia over the hump. And now Kirby has, because he's strung together, you know, 5 or 6 consecutive top 5 classes, several number 1 classes. I think Josh Heupel has to continue keeping his nose to the grindstone in recruiting. I think NIL is a huge factor. Tennessee is one of the leading NIL producers, I'll say, in college football right now. And, you know, the difference in the haves and have-nots, once the SEC expands and we start seeing these super conferences, I think it's going to widen the gap between the Tennessees and I'll just say the Ole Misses and South Carolinas of the world, because going into this season, Tennessee, South Carolina, Ole Miss, those 3 programs, give or take a few other ones, were kind of on the same wavelength. But I think now you've seen Tennessee take that next step. They've got a, you know, high potential 5-star freshman quarterback coming in Nico. So I just think Josh Heupel has to continue, like I said, recruiting at an elite level. And as long as Tennessee is able to build a roster that can sustain for the next 3 to 5 years, Vols are back.
Yeah, and it certainly feels like they've taken a step in that direction. You follow college football, like Ramon said. You look at the top 5 teams right now in the AP Top 25 poll. You know, you could say, okay, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, the rest, there's some shuffling you could do. Just how big is this for the Vols? How big is this stage on Saturday to potentially boost them up there with some of these other powerhouse programs? And how much do they kind of compare to some of these Ohio States? And I know they got to play Georgia, so obviously we'll see with that.
Yeah, I mean, if Tennessee had Ohio State and Clemson's schedule right now, I think Tennessee would still be unbeaten and probably have a great shot at being 12-0.
Okay.
And in my own power ratings, I've got Tennessee number 4, with Ohio State number 1, Georgia 2, Bama 3. I just think right now Tennessee is a better football team on a neutral field than Michigan and Clemson. I just think Tennessee has better players who are executing at a near flawless level. So obviously Saturday's game against Bama is going to be a huge barometer test. I think even if Tennessee loses in a close game, you're going to see a lot more respect nationally. I don't think Tennessee's going to fall out of the top 10 if they are to lose to Bama on Saturday. So I think you'll see a team that plays well, and if the Vols do, you know, topple the Crimson Tide for the first time in 15 years, Tennessee's likely number 3 in Sunday's Week 8 AP poll.
Just real quick, so you mentioned the NIL stuff. Just how big of a flex is that for any university that has those types of funds whenever a recruit hits the transfer portal or whenever it comes down to saying, hey, look, we did good this year, we get you, we'll be even better. How big of a flex is that for people that are into it?
Oh, I think it's huge, Ramon, especially when, you've already got 4 or 5 Power 5 jobs currently open right now. You have a guy like Matt Rule just fired from the Panthers. NIL is going to be a big decision maker for him and, which of these jobs he chooses. You look at Georgia Tech, part of the reason I've been told Deion Sanders isn't too interested in Georgia Tech is because he's unsure of the NIL situation. And then on the flip side, look at Nebraska. I mean, they landed one of the best pass rushers in college football last season and the TCU guy because of NIL during the portal process. So Nebraska's a team, I think, right now, as far as those 5 or 6 jobs that are open or about to come open. I think Nebraska's leading the NIL race. And then you look at the top 5 programs right now in college football, really outside of Clemson, all of those programs are doing big things in NIL. And I think over the next 5 to 10 years, before that gets regulated, NIL is going to be a huge factor in recruiting, no matter what Jimbo Fisher says.
I love it. Jimbo Fisher right now can't say a whole lot.
No,
that's for sure.
He sure can.
Brad, we appreciate it. Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports. Always thankful when you can join us and provide your expertise, and we are certainly looking forward to the game on Saturday with the Tide and the Vols.
Thanks a bunch, y'all.
That is Brad Crawford, and he brought up a point there that we're going to discuss moving forward when we can throughout the show. If the Vols don't win, how important is it that they, quote, lose the right way? We'll discuss when we come back. This is Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Jonathan Schaefer and for Will Bowling on 104.5 The Zone.
Summer's over, but that joint pain is still there, and it's time to do something about it. Hey, it's Ramon Foster, and I want you to call QC Kinetics now. You've put it off long enough, and it's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees and back and shoulders and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have already done this, and now they're living life to the fullest, pain-free. So don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call now for a free consultation at 615-249-4024. Again, the number is 615-249-4024.
Bama hate week rolls on. Ramon, Kayla, and Will. 104.5 The Zone. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. The show powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit All Four Seasons garages.com/Nashville. Live on Zone TV. If you're going into the chat or you're in the chat, it's the buddy system because it is ratchet on there today. There was a mention of waffles, and we will not go any further.
Nope. I know where that's going.
It has been off the chain in the chat today, so you can join that in YouTube. But again, bring a buddy. Also, watch us on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Joe is in Nolensville joining the show today. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Joe.
Joe?
Good morning, guys. Love the show. Listen to you all the time. It gets better every day. And, Ramon, you talking about all these bandwagon fans, and I was just interested. How many of your friends and family jumped on the Steelers bandwagon when you got drafted?
You know what? First and foremost, wasn't drafted, okay? Second part of that is when you basically turn into a job, I think things change, okay? I've known guys whose dads played on other NFL teams, and when their son made it into the NFL, they became a fan of that team. So I get where you coming from, and I respect it. And let me just be real with you. All of them.
Well, Mo, you hit a nerve with me when you did the New England and Tampa Bay thing. That's why I was calling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel you, man. I'm with that, too. I respect a good trash talking. To me, you get an A on that one, man. I like it. Yeah, that was solid right there.
Hey, you guys get an A for the show every day. Love you guys, man. Like I said, it gets better every day. Kayla, good addition.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Right.
Thank you very much. See, we can never be upset at a caller when they have to endure violence to then respond with violence.
Right.
Can never be upset about that. And, of course, you can chime in at 615-737-104-TIME. Jim is joining us here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. What's up, Jim?
What's up, Jim?
Jim.
Yeah,
you're on, Jim.
Sorry. I'm a big time UT fan, born and raised. What I want to add to the hold on one second. What I want to add.
Jim, we can't hold for you, brother. You gotta go.
Jim been holding for a while.
I know you've been holding for a while, Jim, but Jim.
Freaking bum.
No, we're just playing, Jim. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jim.
Sorry, I was outside and they had the leaf blowers blowing. But
fair enough. We didn't want that noise in our ears, so fair enough. Go ahead, Jim.
But, as a Tennessee fan, I am worried about the if we have an answer for Tua because he knows Tennessee. He is the big part of the Alabama's defense. So that's the one thing I have to worry about with Alabama is we have Tua on the other side of that ball. So
I think I got an answer for that.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Jim.
I think, Jim, personnel-wise, potentially, yes. But I think defensive-wise, you guys know this too. Defenders have to run. Mm-hmm. They got to run. If they don't run, it's a score. If he's worried about what a guy personality is or how they play, but and also this, he don't know this offense. I don't think he knows this defense either. He better worry about his hamstrings. Okay,
Look at Moan. Henry To'ota.
That's where I'm at. That's just I seriously mean that in the sense of he need to worry about running to the ball. He need to worry about those tight end down the seams.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Henry To'ota is a really good player, which is probably where a little bit of my angst come from with him. Like you ain't have to do that.
He was leaving for Bama.
It was leaving for Bama, and the fact that he's a good player regardless of where he was going to play at. But he should worry more about staying conditioned for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he just didn't want that McDonald's bag. I'm just saying.
Maybe he wanted a supersized.
Well, they got it in Alabama. That's for damn sure.
Hey, let's be real about this. They all got it now. Everybody's got it now.
Move even further before that. Not just now. Everybody had it then.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, there we go.
Because it was mentioned when we had Brad Crawford in the recent segment from 24/7 Sports, and we can't get too much into this topic right now, but NIL is the great leveler when it comes to college football.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how quickly USC has bounced back. And I'm not saying they're back, but they're in the mix.
Yeah, 5, right?
Also the changes in the transfer portal, how that changes things. The Spire Collective
Ooh, shout out
in
to
Knoxville is powerful.
And also, even UT itself, if I'm not mistaken, got like the 1953 fund, where you can basically give up like $19.53 a month, and fans buy into that.
Sure.
Yeah, very Ipte Clemson of them.
You know what I'm saying?
But to Tennessee's credit when it comes to NIL, and to Danny Dimes' credit, to Danny White's credit when it comes to this, when they saw this coming down the highway and that this was going to happen, they built the infrastructure within the system of the school to take best advantage of this and inform players and guide them into how you navigate NIL. And they're not the only school. Ohio State's done a really good job of it as well. The top schools have.
Yep.
But I think that's where Tennessee has navigated this sooner and better than other schools that have helped elevate them currently to where they are now.
And real quick, as I was riding into Knoxville, I listened to our sister station 99.1 The Animal, and I'm listening and I'm hearing players do ad commercials too. So it's not like you're giving. It's sponsorships. It's being able to go for paid appearance to interviews and stuff like that. And it's branding, right? Imagine what Peyton, imagine what Ron.
I can't.
Well, and imagine what Archie Manning's going to, not Archie, but Arch Manning is going to be getting.
Come on.
He's already got probably.
Right. And even more coming.
Like Eric Berry. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Any starting quarterback for that matter.
Yeah.
So, NIL, it is here, and you got to deal with it, and you better be good at it moving forward if you want to be one of the superpowers. Four's up. Let's do it. Four's up. Fourth quarter coming your way, as I like to call it, the championship quarter coming your way. He is a Titan for life. He is the there it is. He is the executive producer of Titans Radio. Rhett Bryan in studio is going to join us in the next segment. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. This is 104.5 The Zone. It is 9:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. 4 Major League Baseball playoff games yesterday. The Atlanta Braves trailed 7-1 after the top of the 5th inning and rallied all the way back to 7-6 with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, courtesy of a 3-run homer from Matt Olson. With the Phils, they lead the best-of-5 divisional round series 1-0. Game 2 today at 3:35 in Atlanta. And Kayla, earmuffs.
Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone! And the Astros walk them off in Game 1! Yordan Alvarez! Are you kidding me?
I'm just reporting the news. I'm not trying to hurt you. Walk-off 3-run homer, 2 outs in the 9th as the Astros won 8-7 over the M's, the Seattle Mariners. Yankees 4, Guardians 1, Dodgers 5, Padres 3. And the Minnesota Vikings have signed Theo Jackson from the Titans practice squad. Of course, former Overton High star and a VFL. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone. The show goes on to the 4th hour of the show, the 4th quarter, the championship quarter, right here on Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. We are powered, as always, by All 4 Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All 4 Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation and repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit all4seasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Live on Zone TV, where the chat is off the hook today. You might want to have a concealed permit if you're going in there. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Wednesday, 9 o'clock hour means Titan for Life. The executive producer of Titans Radio, Rhett Bryan, joins us. And Rhett was worked up by Lisa's call earlier in the show about the rivalry between Bama and the Vols, because she says, not a rivalry between these two schools. Rhett, you have the floor.
Yes, General Nealon started this back in the 30s. He named it the 3rd week in October. It's been a thing for going on 100 years. So while your team, the Crimson Tide, have taken 15 in a row, I understand your stance. It is a rivalry. I don't care who you are, because there was a time, and Ramon Foster knows this well, when the shoe was on the other foot.
Yep.
And they went through coaches like Mike Shula, Mike Price, who never coached a game for them.
2
Dennis
words.
Francione.
Bunny Ranch.
Bunny Ranch.
That's what happened.
And you know, really, they had this long gap between Gene Stallings and Nick Saban. And there was some big wins, you know, against Gene Stallings and Bear Bryant. I mean, this was a thing, and it still is a thing. And I'd say this, the Vols get the dub on Saturday, Knoxville will never be the same.
Ooh, boy.
I mean, goalposts are coming down. There's probably multiple boats on fire, the Vol Navy in the river. I mean, you know, you name it. You're going to hear victory laps everywhere. But this is a big deal, and I think the Vols nation realizes they have their best shot in 15 years to get a W. That's the end of my TED Talk.
Well, but Rhett, I do want to ask this question of you that we've talked about throughout the show, and we'll continue to talk about throughout the week. If the Vols don't win, how important is it that they, quote unquote, lose the right way? As in, you only lose by 6. Or even if it's 2 touchdowns, maybe it's a touchdown on a pick at the end.
I mean, while there's no real moral victories, I think the fan base would be tickled with, you know, hey, they lost a nail biter by 3 or whatever, knowing that there is serious momentum in a Josh Heupel era that's already gotten an extension in his contract in this thing. And the dude is bringing guys in left and right, and he has a top 10 program right now ranked.
Yeah.
So, now a win, obviously we're talking about a whole different topic now. We're talking about a different ball game. But you don't lose any momentum. I think he will have them programmed and ready to go, win, lose, or draw after Saturday. I think the big thing is if they can work on quick release stuff with Hendon Hooker so he doesn't get murdered.
Right.
Because, look, we know the Vol secondary has its issues. They just need the ball in their hands and score last.
Yes.
That's the end of this is it. That is the game plan.
Yep. I think it's interesting too. A really good point that Shay from Rhett, as far as okay, if you do lose, what's the best way to lose? Let's go back a little bit to, I guess, this past summer after the season, expectation for Josh Heupel. A lot of people didn't even realize what Josh Heupel was going to be. I was on the front end, I was like, man, I'm going to wait to see. I ain't happy. I'm not sad. I'm indifferent about his hiring. What happened this past year was I think everybody was shocked. Oh, wow, we're competing. Beat a ranked Kentucky team, a highly ranked Kentucky team, had some good wins last year, get a bowl game, lose the bowl game, all those types of things. I think everybody set their criteria and expectation. Well, in year 2, we got to get one of the big 3. You remember that when that was the expectation? Get one of the big 3. I think even if they do lose on Saturday, he's already surpassed that expectation because, as your point, not only did he get a raise, everybody on his staff got a raise, right? And with that being said, okay, you go into Pitt on the road, you beat them, they were ranked. You go get LSU, they were ranked. You beat the teams you were supposed to, Ball State and Akron, the way you were supposed to. You got, as of right now, the conversation around the Heisman candidate. You hadn't had that probably since Eric Berry, right? And
Hendon Hooker wins this game, that goes up exponentially.
It goes. And to imagine this being the case, we went from, man, we just got to get one of the big 3. Well, you did that, and you also got a ranked team. You also beat some road ranked teams. You also are in a conversation where you even talking about beating Alabama. Right. So as far as if he loses, is it with dignity? I think he got a lot of stock in the trunk of the car and says, we still going to be all right.
What I've liked about this Tennessee team and Josh Heupel and the way he's controlling things is they've been able to keep the momentum going. They've been able to build on the momentum, whether that be getting wins over top 25 teams this year. It's all kind of led up to this moment right now. I think it comes at the right time to get the national respect. We're talking about programs all over the country, the West Coast included. Winning this game would be absolutely huge. Yeah. But even if they lost by 7 or 3 or whatever it might be, you're still going to get a lot more attention that you even did before this moment. So I just think it's just an awesome opportunity for the Vols, no matter what.
I know they had some recruits in some of those games where they beat Pitt, those things that helps that. The other part of this, too, think about this. 7-on-7 football changed the world.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, how many years Coach Mack and I talk about this every spring in the draft, how much loaded with running backs and receivers and skill position players. I could go play and have a good chance to play several plays per game. And if I'm a starter, 70, 80, 90 plays a game.
Yeah.
100%.
That's appealing to me if I'm a wide receiver, if I'm a running back, whatever.
100.
Rhett Bryan, Titan for Life, executive producer of Titans Radio, joins us. Let's get the immediate news out of the way, Rhett. Theo Jackson, local favorite, of course, from Overton High and also a VFL, being picked up off the practice squad and joining the Minnesota Vikings.
Hate to see it. I wanted to see him, continue to be in that two-tone blue uniform. But like Kayla said this morning, and I think she's right, look, Theo's a great dude, and I'm happy for him for his personal success. And this is just a part of what happens. And I heard what you said, Ramon, about, your point of contention is keeping guys here, that guys you procured in the town. They've done that. They just can't do it with everybody. I mean, when you look at Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, Harold Landry, I mean, there's a list of them that they drafted, they paid, They've stayed. They've performed.
Mm-hmm.
You just, with the way the cap and things are set up, you can't have it all.
Oh, yeah.
And to your point, Shafe, if he wasn't a 6th-round pick, this probably would be a bigger deal. If he was a 3rd-round pick and all of a sudden, he didn't make your squad and he signed off of, like everybody was lamenting about losing David and Ninny a few weeks ago.
Sure.
Well, he got cut over the weekend and was
said that on the
re-signed
break.
back to the Steelers practice squad. This is just the NFL football that we are in 2022. This is what it is.
Also, the flexibility of the practice squad.
Yeah, it's huge. And listen, that's a model for future things because, look, we know it's a matter of time before they go to 18 games. And so they have a model in place for expanded taxi squad, for practice squad, and call-ups and all those things like that, IR. They're working all that out that way that the only last thing they'll need to do is put in an extra bye week and some other concessions. But this is the precursor to that model.
Rhett, the Titans' main goal between now and hosting the Colts on October 23rd is what?
Get healthy. Get healthy. So you saw John Glennon Sunday night say 64 guys already played through 5 weeks. That's going to shatter the 91 the record that they set last year. Over 20 players started on defense. That's the main thing in this is getting healthy. Outside of the second half scoring woes, which they did bust that, somewhat Sunday in Washington, they still haven't scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
There are always things that are room for improvement, but listen, there's some good things to point out of this too. Derrick Henry's back. They're using him in the receiving game. That's working well. He's getting touches. They're getting wins. And the third down defense, I think, is one of the more surprising things out of this is how good that is. And people are like, well, 4th down, they're terrible. Well, we're not talking about they're converting 4th and 11. They're converting 4th and 1s. More people are going for it on 4th down than probably ever.
Yeah.
So when you look at the offensive line, and we were talking about Ryan Tannehill even, while he wasn't on the injury report or anything, he got beat up this past Sunday. You saw it firsthand. So he'll be healing up also during the bye week. But in terms of the guys in front of him, Rhett, how does that get shored up? Can it get shored up?
Unfortunately, you have the personnel that you have. But it's interesting that you bring that up because I thought it was interesting during Mike Vrabel's press conference on Monday, and then he kind of reiterated it on his show Monday night here on The Zone, that we're going to be looking at guys, rewarding guys who have been playing their rear ends off, and maybe even having some guys that play less. And, of course, you can start thinking about names, but I think he's thinking about multiple groups of people trying to find the best 48 dudes to get up and active and ready to play on Sunday.
Ray, you brought up something, too, about Derek being Derek. Derek is back, man. Did you notice, if I'm not mistaken, on that Hilliard touchdown, Derek and Hilliard both were in the backfield, and Derek actually drew a lot of people towards him for that Hilliard touchdown?
It's nothing better than being a big, giant decoy when you need that, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But that's also the expansion of the offense that I think has to work itself out through Todd Downing. How much can I do? What's the thought process into gaming, second half scores and everything else? Like, this is a part of the journey.
It is. And look, it starts with cleaning up penalties. You got to stop the, offsides and holding and those things. A lot of that stuff's going to be called regardless, but you can help clean that up. So that's a big part of it. And then, you've got to keep working through plays to get you some explosive plays to extend drives, which they are doing. It's just you haven't seen a ton of that in the second half. And, again, it happens for a multitude of reasons. I guarantee you they're working on all that stuff right now. I like the way the defense is playing. I mean, you think about this. They gave up 41 in week 2 to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Since then, they've averaged 18.6 points per game given up in 3 wins. That's what you want.
Yep.
Rhett, this offense is Derrick Henry and – because right now it just looks like Derrick Henry. So it's Derrick Henry and –
I mean, it's Derrick Henry and the cast of characters. I mean, there's not a – you're missing Traylon Burks in this.
Yeah.
And I think Robert Woods can be that.
Yeah.
But now I will say this, and this might be considered a bold prediction, but it might be Chigakonkwo.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That might be some of what Mike Vrabel is referencing there, because the young man knows how to play.
Yep.
He knows how to block. He knows how to get open. He knows how to catch. He reminds me a lot of Delaney Walker in his mannerisms and kind of the way he's built and works. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets more touches in this thing going forward.
Prediction for Saturday, Bama and the Vols, Rhett.
The Vols get it done.
Yeah.
There we go.
They do. I don't know what the score is, but the Vols get it done.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, it is.
Rhett Bryan, Titans Radio, making his weekly appearance with us. Rhett, we appreciate it. And, yeah, you'll be working with Lucas here today.
Yep. What? And as soon as we are done with Buck's show, I am done with the week. I'll be back on Monday because it's the bye week.
Enjoy.
And I got to hit the little hit the pause button and get ready to hit the ground running next Monday.
You will be gonzo, and we appreciate that. And enjoy
Thanks,
the
Rhett.
break. Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio, the executive producer, Titan for Life here on Ramona, Kayla, and Will. When we come back, some more about my concerns with the Titans and also more Bama hate, because what else are we going to do unless we're hating on Bama?
Hate Bama more.
Just going to hate Bama more. Pour on some steam is what we're going to do. He's Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson here. I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. The show goes on after this on 104.5 The Zone. Breathe it in. Enjoy it. Ramon, Kayla, Will Bowling, who's loafing. Nah, he is under the weather, as many are this time of the year. Only he's got the Cajun crud, having been to Baton Rouge over the weekend, or some like to call us Red Stick. Baton Rouge, Red Stick. Jonathan Schaefer in for Will. We've got Ramon, Kayla, and yes, Bama hate week continues. And we had a phone call early in the show from Lisa, who I thought brought up some fair points and also did Ramon.
Yeah. Bless you.
She did bless my heart.
Now, she didn't even do a bless your heart. She went, bless it.
Oh, sweetie.
She went, bless it.
What she did.
And
that's cute, is what she used.
It was cute. Yeah,
that's what I liked that.
That's cute.
That's cute.
That's exactly what that was.
The other version of that is, oh.
Yeah.
That's the other version.
Oh, man.
And her point to that was because it is a big-time rivalry that goes way back to General Neyland, third Saturday here in October.
Oh.
When both teams are really good, one of the great rivalries in college football. But now Tennessee on the verge. They have the opportunity to, quote-unquote, be back with the opportunity they have this weekend, where they haven't been able to do that for 15 years in the Mount Cody and all those other things that have occurred over the years. But, Ramon, do you want to give people a little bit of a history lesson of how life was for Alabama in the mid-'90s to early 2000s?
It was rocky.
Yeah, do you want to remind them a little bit?
It was very much rocky. In my time there, beat Alabama 2 times. And this is the thing. The point of Saban has been, as opposed to what UT has had, it's been stability. You've had a strong level of stability with a guy that inherited a method of coaching, a method of being able to reach guys, a method of selling Alabama. Alabama wasn't this. It just wasn't. I give credit where credit is due. Saban is a bad man, okay? I can admit that, Kayla. I didn't say.
Little man, yeah.
Can't nobody touch me. Yeah, he's
5'6".
5'6". He's a cute little man.
You just blessed your heart to Nick Saban.
Because they bless our heart like that, too.
He's mean little man, though.
And you say what you want to about him. He wants this game. I think,
yes.
and again, I remember last year asking this question. When do we begin to see a crack in the armor of Alabama? And I think if you have a situation like this where you you beat Texas. I won't say you escaped. You beat Texas. You beat A&M with a backup quarterback who was hurt, okay? And you also in the offseason have a whole bunch to say about everybody else but the Alabama program. If there is ever to be a chink in the Alabama armor, it's if Tennessee beats you.
615-737-1045, your time to shine right now. How are you celebrating Bama Hate Week? Are you going on to social media and just talking all the trash there on social media? Do you have a bet with your neighbors, with your family members? Are you a house divided? We see that a lot when it comes to the Tide and the Vols. Or do you have any traditions for the third week in October that go way back? What would a Vols win over Bama mean to you? I know what it would mean to Ramon.
It mean a lot.
Going to be a lot of cigars are going to be lit up by you and Ron Slay and fellow VFLs on Saturday if they can pull off the
Mo
win.
might not be here on Monday.
Now, Moan will be here Monday.
I ain't got many.
He's just not gonna.
I don't
look
think
good.
I got vacation days.
Well, but here's
system,
the other
right?
thing.
Yeah.
I go on these trips to be his attaché.
Yeah.
I am Ramon Foster's just kind of herder. Just make sure he goes to where he needs to be. And every once in a while, he gives me that look and says, "Shit, get me out of here." And that's what we do.
And see this. I just need y'all to know that when I'm gonna stop saying if. When this happens, I have I got bins. Okay, I got closets full. I got storages, Kayla, full of receipts. And I'm like Walmart. I take anything back, okay? Everything's refundable.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, I'm one of them, okay? I keep them. I remember, look, I laugh to have a good time because I know what the other side looks like. You feel me?
You don't want to go there.
That's like you, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
You laugh and have a good time because why?
You don't want to see me on my other side.
Still hurting from last night with the Mariners.
But those bins I got in the back, storage, they will be pulled to the forefront. And I will cash every single one of them out, okay?
Like you don't even have this many receipts for your taxes.
Nah. And I usually keep up with that pretty good.
Yes, you do.
I keep up with that real good. these receipts, they're going to make a lot of people sit down, okay? I will search my Twitter for people that said anything about Alabama and Tennessee. I'm that guy this week.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where
So
I'm at.
you're working at night at, getting this thing ready.
Graveyard shift with all the bodies.
Oh,
okay?
he's doing graveyard shift at Pettyville right now. That's what he's doing.
That's exactly where I live.
No doubt about that. Logan and Nashville are going to talk Vols and Bama. Logan, welcome into Ramon, Kayla, and Will on the Zone.
Hey, good morning, lady and gentlemen.
Good morning, Logan.
Morning.
Got to talk about these Tennessee Vols. Lifelong Vol fan. I bleed this stuff. You know why Tennessee's going to win this weekend?
Talk to us.
The football gods have finally looked down on us and see that we have stability, we have an athletic director, we have a coach. Could you imagine if those bozos that we've had for the past 15 years would have actually beat Alabama? We would still be in the pit of despair because we would hold on to that victory with, well, they did it once in a fluky win. They did it. We can do it again. No, we needed to go through this agony to understand, hey, we need somebody real, and we finally have somebody real that everybody loves, the players respect. Go Vols. We're going to win this weekend.
See?
There it is.
I like the point he brought up because just in life in general, when you actually have to go through things, when you have to go through a lot of agony and you finally get that prize, and I'm not saying it's going to come yet, but we don't know. I mean, this is a great opportunity. It feels like that prize is right there. And that makes you appreciate it that much more.
I agree. And that's the biggest point of it all, though, Kayla, I think. What he just said, like, can you imagine Butch?
Yeah.
Or Lane?
Well, I don't want to imagine Butch for anything.
Or Dooley being in this situation. And I think that's like a lot of people, I see a bunch of media types say this. No matter how big the win, no matter how they win, he pushes it back on the players, right? Most good coaches do that, right? I don't know if the bunch before was able to really Lane can now, right,
That's
Caleb?
exactly what I was going to say.
Lane can now, right? Even Inky has vouched for him. He's like, big homie, like Lane is kind of, Inky is like, he's kind of switched up a little bit now. And I think that's why he is starting to flourish a little bit more.
Still a punchable face.
We won't.
One that slimmed down, though.
Yeah, of course.
Fair enough.
Everybody
I
goes
picked
through
up what he lost. That's fair. That's okay. It's okay. Why have feelings when you can eat pizza? Let's be real about this.
I mean, that's very true. There's different types of pizzas out there, too.
All the pizzas.
But with that being said, though, stability goes a long way. So one thing Alabama has had that nobody else had other than Georgia in the SEC. Nobody's had this but Georgia in
Georgia's
the SEC.
had to work a little for it,
and
though.
they had to work for it. Yep,
Yeah.
100%. I didn't think, what was it, Mark Richt?
Yeah.
Mark Richt.
I didn't think he deserved to be fired at the time.
But here's the thing. They go and get Kirby, win a natty.
Exactly.
Justifies everything.
It does justify everything.
And that's with a walk-on QB, let's remind ourselves.
But again, we spoke about this yesterday too, right? The right coaching and coordinator for quarterbacks mean a lot.
Yes.
Jayson Swain mentioned this earlier in the show today, talking about Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker, to me, is the number one reason this team, even in the words of Danny White, is ahead of schedule. And him being a 24-year-old man who's had to overcome his own adversity where he was basically shoved out the door at Virginia Tech, which, by the way, Hokies, how's that working out for you right now? It does seem like something that you can't plan, where it is that marriage between the perfect quarterback with the perfect coach for each other at the perfect time.
I don't know who else has kind of had this marriage. Like you said, we mentioned Kirby. No. Let's go here. Dabo and Deshaun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's fair.
Trevor also had a whole lot of success with him. Like, you look at these successful programs, it really is quarterback and coach and quarterback and coordinator. Like, I'm with him. I think Alex Golesh is probably next up at some capacity. I don't know if it's going to be a big Power 5 school, because I think a lot of the jury is out. Well, is it him calling it? Or I think he understands the DNA of what Heupel is calling. I think he does call plays at Tennessee as an offensive coordinator in title. But it does go a long way with Saban. Think about him. Like, I got to give a lot of credit to Lane on this, though. Lane was able to tap in and say, Alabama, we got to go do a lot of stuff. We got to go find quarterbacks. And I was supposed to finish up the scout meeting Wednesday, college edition, by saying this too. I think a lot of people have angst about Alabama because of one guy in particular. I know my brother-in-law is a huge Bama fan, but when you mention Bill O'Brien,
oh, that name.
Although they are winning and they have won big, a lot of people look at Bill O'Brien and say he's holding us back. They got as many 4- and 5-star playmakers on that offense as almost anybody. And for them not to have a numero uno at wide receiver just yet speaks volumes about how they're playing ball or calling the plays.
You mean how he held the Houston Texans?
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
That was he has some really good teams there. Offensively, he did. And who's that guy? Deshaun. What was his name?
Deshaun Watson and DeAndre?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I remembered that. Remember how he got rid of everybody?
Yeah, this guy called D-Hop. You remember those situations?
Yeah, I do.
I think a lot of Alabama fans are holding back because of what he calls. Like, Bryce Young is that good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watching their backup quarterback right now play ball, too, at Alabama, you look at him and say, well, he's making plays with his legs more than anything else, too. Like, they got some guys, and I think I ain't going to say they're being held back by him, but he ain't Lane. He ain't Sarkisian, right?
No.
Okay.
I think Sarkisian's one of the best play callers in the country.
Yeah.
Well, you're seeing that in Texas right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting some talent
What's
in
that
there.
score? 49-0 at Oklahoma. We didn't talk enough about that, man.
That mullet came back with some magic.
Yes, it did. Magic mullet.
Yeah.
And he's got the beard,
It's
too.
gross.
Ugh, it's gross.
Did anyone really expect Ewers to be this good?
No.
I did.
Because he was competing for the quarterback job at the beginning of the season. He's had a lot of extra waste behind him in terms of what he's dealt with. And he's kind of a little pompous. You thought maybe he's not going to be able to do what he needs to do with being the rating that he got out of high
Talk his
school.
talk, but could he walk the walk?
But he's walking it.
Yeah.
I actually thought he could. You want to know why? He's a Southern kid that was going to Ohio State as the #1 overall player in the country. I saw that, and he enrolled early because he thought he could play, not realizing they had a stud at quarterback there.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow. I did think he could be that, though, Shafe. I hate he's coming. Well, we won't see him, will we?
What?
Eventually. You'll see Texas.
Well, we'll see Texas.
What
but I
year
don't
is
think
he
we'll
right
see
now?
him. He's a sophomore.
You got Arch Manning coming in.
Well,
maybe his senior year.
Senior year, because if it's 2024.
Yeah.
What quarterbacks last when you're a top guy?
Well, exactly.
Junior?
You're probably gone by then. Yeah. Which actually, you brought that up when it comes to quarterbacks and getting into the NFL and leaving early. As Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues here on The Zone, what are Hendon Hooker's professional prospects?
You're starting to hear a little more now.
Because I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback.
There was no talk before.
Right. No. Or even a starting quarterback. And that's where I think actually the system hurts him a little bit. Well, it's helping him in one way, but I think it's hurting him in another way.
Well, I'll say this. His passing ability is up there with almost anybody else. I'll say this, and Ron brought this up too. Was it with us when we were talking about Dylan Sampson giving up that sack?
Yeah.
Or that quarterback hit. Is this, though?
He got drilled.
He did get drilled, but his eyes are always downfield as far as making plays. I think that does help. I think he knows the wide receiver tree. I think he knows how to break down defenses. It's a matter of he'll be one of those guys that has to get into camp and to show you. I almost view him as Dak, as Jalen Hurts, as guys you just got to see to believe they can actually play. That's where I'm at with him.
And if he wins, if he leads his Vols to a win, it's going to keep drumming up. The attention's going because when it all comes down to it, quarterbacks, it doesn't mean how good you are. Once you're on the board and you're doing good things, you're going to keep climbing, and the national media is going to go.
Yep.
I agree with that, except for last year. Because you heard all that rumbling about, look at these first-round picks that they have, and we're always told that they're always going to pick quarterbacks too high, too early in the draft. Kenny Pickett was the only pick last year.
No, you're right.
And Malik went the whole way down to round 3.
But they were talking about all the picks being in the first round.
No, they were talking about it, yes. But that's the thing.
But if it's going to happen, that's a different story.
Was there a shift in the NFL's thinking when it comes to that, or was that just unique to last year? And that's a question we don't know. We're going to find out moving forward.
I think that was just last year because I think nobody felt that those dudes were one.
Because we know what this draft class is going to look like coming out.
Like QBs.
And it is stacked.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you've had teams plan for this quarterback draft class moving forward. When we come back, when we wrap up the show, midweek motivation with our man Inky Johnson, the VFL of VFLs as it is right now. Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, I'm Jonathan Schaefer in for Will Bowling. This is 104.5 The Zone. Horns up, and we don't mean Texas. Welcome back to Ramon, Kayla, and Will on 104.5 The Zone. Ramon almost did a spit take.
He did. It almost just went everywhere.
You want me to add to that, Ramon? We don't mean that other UT.
Yeah, there we go. You know how to get to me, Shay.
Let me tell you what. Couldn't care less about the Mets. I don't care. And for personal reasons, because of the Pirates in the 1992 NLCS, I don't give a about the Atlanta Braves either. But hearing that music and thinking about the Mets season flaming out, pretty good.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's
Big fan of
tough,
that.
man.
Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. When trust matters, count on All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Professional garage door installation repair from a locally owned and family-run business. Visit allfourseasonsgarages.com/Nashville. Coming up in about 5 minutes, midweek motivation with our guy Inky Johnson, who's down in New Orleans, so providing a little video and audio for us. Of course, you'll get the audio portion of that. Kyle in Lebanon joining us right now. Kyle, good morning.
What's up, Kyle? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's up?
How are you?
Good.
I was going to say, what does the game look like without Bryce Young? There's been reports around, on TikTok and different places that he is not going to play, that he can't even throw a 10-yard pass. What does the game look like with that being the outcome on him not playing? I'll hang up and listen to your call.
Appreciate it, Kyle. First of all, Kyle, no offense, but if you're using TikTok as your news service, you might want to re-examine that. But please go ahead.
Man, I'm guessing. I'm almost certain Bryce Young is going to play. Like I said, I think it's 98.9% that he does play now.
Does he last the whole game? That's a question.
It depends on Tennessee's rush to get after him. I've seen him get rattled before, and no quarterback likes it. But Bryce, you listen to Ron talk about, I'm sure it's something he'll pull up later. He's not a real big dude. I worry about with draft time with him because I like to see these guys succeed, though, too, in the pros. Because it's good for our game, too, right? Covering the NFL. I'll be shocked if they don't knock him big time for his height and size. Mm-hmm. What is he, 5'10"?
Yeah. Around there.
180?
He's not big.
He's not big, right? So protecting him, you better have he couldn't go to Cincinnati with that line and play
that current situation
and get hit like that, right? If we hit him, if what we saw, and if Rodney Garner is basically crap slapping every defensive lineman in his room, I wanted to say the other word.
I know you did. I know, right?
You see me pause. If he is going off on his D line the way he did in meetings, in practice, to tell them, y'all better go hit this dude with everything in your mind and knock him out of this game because we have a better chance with the running quarterback, then this is the week to go do that.
Well, and I really think when it comes to this Tennessee defense going into this game, it's going to come down to the pass rush, which was not an area of strength coming into the season. We all had some pretty major concerns.
Yeah, we did.
Concerns about the secondary, still have concerns about the secondary. But I think, Kayla, it really is going to come down to this pass rush of the Vols.
Yeah, I think so too. And the best thing to know about that right now, whoever you face, whoever quarterback you're going to face on Saturday, the pass rush is going in the right direction, and being able to feed off of a game like last week, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I know Young's been doing some good things for them, and so I think no matter who you face, and if you're going to face the backup, Alabama's going to be less confident. But who says that Bryce Young is going to survive the whole game?
And
if you come in with that mindset,
because all he has to do is land on that shoulder.
That's what I'm saying. He's not 100%, guys. Nobody ever is, but he's not close to it.
The one thing I was questioning Heupel's recruiting a little bit with was I was just like, ooh, we getting a whole lot of edge guys. Like, there's a lot of them, like James Pierce and also Joshua Josephs from last year, this recruiting class, having Byron Young, having other guys that are in that list too. And this next year, Shadavian Bradley and also the kid right down the street from us also are both 4 and 5 star guys. In this league, you need that.
That's what I was going to say, is that I don't think you can have too many edge rushers because
Caleb Herring. I didn't want to do Caleb Herring.
Yes, and they may not all pan out, but if you can get one, if you can get two out of that group, and then that's the thing. You got to be able to throw that ball. You got to have the quarterback, and you got to have the people that are going after the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
Ask Bud Dupree. He understands because he's done it for a living. We do want to thank today for our Scout Meeting Wednesday and our guests, Jayson Swain, Brad Crawford, Rhett Bryan, as well as Jason and Brad were brought to you by the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Want to thank all those degenerates in the chat today on Zone TV. It was wild and wonderful. That is for sure. Hey, coming up tomorrow, Bill Bender of the Sporting News, Ryan McGee. He's going to be a part of ESPN's coverage, obviously, Saturday morning, and he is a UT guy, a UT alum. We'll be there in Knoxville. Bob Kessling, the voice of the Vols. Coach Mack.
Let's go.
Even on the bye week.
Frogs.
Coach Mack. It's not Horned Frogs, it's Frogs. Frogs. Coach Mack's going to join us tomorrow as well. He's actually going to be calling the Rams game for Sports USA Radio, which will be on the Zone during the bye week this Sunday. So, for Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Jonathan Schaefer, and for Will. Get better soon, Will. We do want you to come back to work. Come on, quit being a slacker. Right now, we are getting some redemption. We are being restored in our faith. As we tell the crowd on the overflow, it is midweek motivation with our VFL, Inky Johnson.
Just because you can do it doesn't mean that you should do it. One of the worst things that can happen is for somebody to do something the wrong way and get the right result. From a character standpoint, one of the worst things that can happen for a person is for a person to do something the wrong way and get the right result, right? I say it all the time. Talented, skillful individuals, the challenge is your talent and your skill can take you to a space and place that your character can't sustain you. Even, let's take it, sports, business, life, right? And so for a young cat, I'll never forget, I was in high school, right? And I had dropped probably 35 points, right? And cats come over to me after the game. Ain't great job, man. You did your thing, right? And I'm getting ready to walk out of the gym. My dad come over, Ink, put your bag down. I'm like, man, not tonight, man. Not tonight, bro. I just got busy. Not tonight. Hey, man, when you was coming down the court on the other side, on the left side, why you put the ball in the right hand and go to lay up the ball in the right? Why you didn't keep the ball
what we
in
were
the
talking
left?
about. That's what we were talking about.
And I'm like,
yeah,
it
that's
ain't
what we
that
were talking
deep.
about.
I made the layup. It ain't that deep. Yeah, but you're going to meet a team sooner than later. All they going to do is just line up on your right side and make you go left. And if you haven't developed your left hand, just because you can do it, Ink, doesn't mean that you should do it, right? And oftentimes we feel like we don't have to value something if our talent and our skill allows us to get a certain result that we shouldn't really be getting, but because the talent and the skill set may be so high, it's allowing it to a certain standpoint.